Well, there goes the day. Good morning, everybody. Wow, the vein in my head.
I saw that.
Well,
Yeah.
look at
That
that.
happened to me too. I said, I wonder when I teach if I do that. Maybe they think I'm having a stroke.
Oh,
That
wow.
was powerful.
Yeah, but well, basically these days we're teaching in vain. But
I love the shirt.
is it? Well, I purposely picked this one. It's too small.
You know what it reminds me of? Salt and pepper. Like when like when you make a seasoning or something. It's beautiful.
No, you know what it reminded me today of?
What?
Honestly, the color. Look, matzah. It's matzah color.
Oh, if it were tan, it's got the texture. It's the texture. But it's got to be tan. If you're not supposed to eat something that's gray, honey.
If you leave matzah in the box for 10 years.
Gray food makes you sick in the tummy, remember? Gray food made you sick in the tummy.
It's true. A comedian used to do a thing about there's no blue food. Yeah. Well, blueberries are generally blackish.
No, Amanda told me, our old Ackmen in Colorado, she said because the antifreeze is blue. Like you don't want to drink. Blueberries are not really blue, they're purple.
Right. And
The
grapes.
only thing blue is like Kool-Aid or maybe a slushie, but people don't want to drink it because it looks like it's...
But it's also true, I can't think of any intentionally gray food. Like steak will turn gray, but you don't want it to.
The only thing I know is the skin of fish. Like the salmon skin is gray, but they grill it. But it's fish skin. You're
right, fish, and you can eat that. That's very good. The skin of a lot of fish, or the speckling.
Sometimes potatoes might look a little gray if they're, mashed with skin. Dead potatoes. David, fix his teeth. Look what happened. The one's hanging low. Oh my God, fix it.
All right, we have to do orthodontia here.
Hold on.
Where's my implement? I think they're in there. Oh, all right. See, this is the what we're going for. This is going to take a few years.
Show them the model here.
Eventually, Potato will have these glorious choppers like so. He's.
Here's his retainer. David, I'll put his retainer on it.
Ooh.
Here's the retainer.
This is good. At some point on this show, I'm going to cough up phlegm. Actual phlegm.
Put on his retainer. The silver part goes on the teeth.
So this helps. Well,
That's the retainer. He needs to get some.
I put the retainer over Potato's face.
Watch his eyes. Okay.
Ow! Oh, I'm sorry, Potato.
And to get the tag. Oh, David, you got on his nose and the tag's in there. Oh my God, honey.
Yeah, this is a problem. That's going to be difficult.
You put on his tag and you put on his nose.
Oh, I know what I can talk about this week because I was having trouble coming up with stuff to talk about. But look how much better we got his teeth.
Yes, see, that'll help his teeth.
It'll angle this one a little bit more.
See, just
yeah.
let him rest with that on.
Yeah, I want an invisible line. Potato, no. I don't know why. Can we give him an invisible line?
I don't think they fit potatoes yet. They're working on it.
No, yes, they're still in that mode.
I don't know if children can even get a potato, so you gotta wait
really?
a bit. Yeah.
Well, they still have to do the old-fashioned pull and tweak.
I don't know.
I don't think they put wires around kids anymore. Real, like in the front, like I used to have. Where I had braces for many years.
Our neighbor wants to put the electronic fence on you.
This is what I do to people. This is me. This is the woman my wife Joyce is married to. I'm Dave Lefkowitz. The program is Dave's Gone By.
This is the woman my wife Joyce is married to.
Oh, but hon, did I tell you I'm transitioning? No. But this is the person that Joyce is married to. Our neighbor, who's a great guy. Wonderful guy, our guy across the street, the guy we talked about, who sometimes, if I get up late and I'm lazy, whatever,
he's the garbage gifter.
He'll literally bring our garbage, empty garbage. Once the folks take either the garbage or the recycling, the sanitation is come and gone. If our garbage is still out there front on like the curb, or even they put it on this gutter, which I don't understand, he'll take it sometimes and bring it all the way back up our driveway. Just because he's a good neighbor.
I thought the funny part, the one time we got the day wrong, because when we were first here, we didn't know holidays.
Oh, yeah.
And he brought the one fill back because it wasn't due yet.
Oh,
I was like, man.
He's neighborhood conscious, but he used to do all the gardening and lawns at a local university, landscaping. So he's very into keeping his own place trimmed, and I think also he just likes the zen of doing yard work and flowers and gardening and stuff now that he's retired and stuff. but great fella. So I kid around with him as I do with people I think are cool and people I've started to get to know. To the point where, of course, I say, awfully inappropriate and disgusting things. And he suggested to you.
You were there.
Well, yeah, to you about me, that you should do what to me?
Put on, like the electronic fence collar where it's an invisible collar where the pet goes too close, he gets a little shock.
Or even, no, the shock collar. Yeah. The dog collar, it's not even invisible. They wear this thing, and you point at it, and it administers an electric shock.
Yes.
And he points to my wife and says, he should have an electric shock collar on his neck. And he's probably right. Would have saved. I probably have like a $500,000 job somewhere in the entertainment industry.
Remember, like your cousin were like, "Don't talk about this health condition."
Oh,
and then
beautiful.
We're sitting there, and you look at her.
Well, if you're going to tell the story, tell the whole story.
I can't. You say it. I can't say it. It's so disgusting.
It's not well. Yeah, it is. One of I didn't realize it at the time. It was we got the chickens flying already. Yes. One more. We got, no, banked off the mirror.
Look close to the sun.
So.
Her husband was putting in cable in our old house.
Yeah. Her husband, very nice guy. And we were living about 3/4 of a mile down the road. And they were over and we needed wires, either for Wi-Fi or cable TV or whatever the hell it was. And he was good at this stuff. So he did, very nice guy. Yeah. And as we're talking to her, I mentioned, I don't know, something came up. I don't know how it came up.
Nothing at all related. You were sitting on the bed and you looked at her and you said...
No, something had to bring it up.
You looked at her and you said, who am I not supposed to say? And then you said what she had.
Well, what happened was it had to do with someone who was having anal problem, not sexual, like anal bleeding. And somehow medical stuff came up. We were talking, I think, about medical.
We were sitting on the bed and I said to him, so-and-so, how did you learn how to do this? And he said, when I was in college, I did this wiring. I did it as a job. And we were talking about how they did it as a job. And then you just looked at the person doughy-eyed and said, now who's the person I'm not supposed to say has...
No, you put it like it couldn't have been. It was probably more along. I was making a joke about stuffing things into dark corners. No. At which point I said, "Hey," and I did say this. I said
to the person.
So we know somebody who has rectal bleeding.
Yes,
who has rectal? I'm literally looking at the person who had told us in confidence.
No, her mother or somebody said, "Don't say anything."
Oh yeah, right, yeah. Or so the mother had told us, and
but that was the first mistake because she shouldn't have told you.
Oh yeah. No, but I didn't intentionally say it to the person.
But you did say it to the person.
Yeah, but I didn't say it was a family person. I said it was just I really didn't remember who.
Why would you look at the person who's going through it and ask them which person has it?
Had the bleeding anus. Yeah. This is the kind of thing that I do, non-stop in my life. Honest to God. So yeah, maybe our neighbor's idea of a shock collar for Dave. It would go off about 20 times during every episode of the show.
During your show when we had a woman, remember? I'll make you tea if you want.
Yeah, in about 40 minutes.
We had Tom's wife, a theater professor's wife. She's like, she's walking in gingerly. She's like, I just had major hip surgery. And so this place is like non-fire code chairs from lawn chairs. I said, why don't you sit on the wooden bench? There's a wooden bench that's sturdy because you just hurt your hip. I don't think you should sit in a lawn chair. You're not going to get out. Yeah. And she's like, I don't want to do that. It'd be a bother. And I'm like, no, sit there. And Tom's like, yeah, sit on the bench with me, honey. Then the chair next to her, while you're speaking, it falls apart. And the man, I guess he was
there's a large-ish man sitting on it.
Yeah, not heavy, but tall. And he was rocking back and forth. He was very engaged. A leg flew off. He fell backward. It shot shards of plastic into people. I'm laughing hysterically on the tape because I am 3.5. And you're yelling at people because they're not paying attention to you.
Right. But that's different. That is not. First of all, I wasn't yelling at him. I was
being.
You
were yelling.
What did I say?
You were mad. You're like, it's my show. I'm up here. Who cares about anybody? Everybody, look at me.
Yes.
I kept saying, look at me, look at me.
Look at me.
Meanwhile, the poor woman, I'm like, is your hip okay? Do you need to go to the hospital?
When I'm up there performing.
On the floor floor, David. He's on the floor.
But when you're up there and you're in the zone, you don't see like 3 rows behind you and someone like a chair. all I'm doing is trying to perform, and so I see something whizzing by my head. Plastic went flying. Yeah, but you don't suss that out. You don't immediately see. Oh, it's like I'll bet the people sitting around Abraham Lincoln probably went, shh, you know. It's like, what was that? For 10 seconds before they realized, oh, the president's been shot.
You're just lucky that woman didn't fall. She would have broke her hip again.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, yeah, and sued. I don't know about me. I think I carry insurance at that point, or sued the venue. But the chairs were donated from the place that gave us the grant to do the show. Yeah. So it's all, you know, it sucks. No, it doesn't. But that you can't say that was a thing of me saying something, whatever. I was on stage in character doing.
You said so many things to me that are unforgivable.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I will today, probably, yeah. Shall we run through them all on the show?
No.
Good. What else?
Even now, that's one right now.
What?
That's a jab right now. Should we run on this show?
Well, you brought them up, so.
That's another one. Don't make that genetically modified sound.
Genetically modified sound. I love that.
Genetic pool.
Yeah.
Mr.
Well,
Eugene.
I swam in the swampy end of the genetic pool. It gave me a hair lip. It gave me height things. It gave me male pattern baldness. What else did it give me? It gave me all these wonderful things. Bunions. We will do Bunion Watch later in the program.
We got a lot of ads for it now on that streaming. You gave me the streaming TV, and we got that ad for it all.
There's apparently laparoscopy, or what do they call it? Lapidoptidoo.
Yes.
Bunion correction surgery. And this ought to tell you something. The guy's promoting it like it takes. And so, you'll be back on your feet in weeks. Weeks.
No, and then
weeks. Yeah.
What they're saying is it also could revert. Like it could revert back to the original. You could get infection. So they're being honest, which is good.
I know, but this idea of, my God, you would hope that newfangled bunion surgery will put you back on your feet in like 10 days to 14.
You have to bear all your body weight on your feet. It's a lot of.
Well, but how long are people off their hips when they have hips? Don't they have to walk the next day?
Yeah, but you're not walking around miles and miles. You're not back to work. You're getting rehab, so maybe you get foot rehab, but you're not fully.
But I can't imagine that a bunion surgery is going to take you off your feet the way hip, knee, lower back surgery. I don't know.
It's probably non-weight bearing for a while. You probably can't bear weight. I don't know, honey.
I don't know either. So, but there is going to be Bunion Watch where we look at my bunions and see if they've grown, if they've changed color, if they've picked up a skill over the past week or two.
Can I draw little faces on them?
Yes. Wait, with what?
A marker.
No, you can't. You're not going to draw on my skin. You can put little maybe Google eyes on them.
I could draw on your sock.
Oh, I threw out one of my socks. I got a hole in it. You can draw on that one. That would be sad. Yeah, that'd be all right.
Next week.
One of my socks has a hole. I don't know why I get so upset when my socks get holes in them. But it makes me mad. Like I buy this thing, it's $2 or $3 for a pair of socks, and because I'm not one of these people who spends $14 on a designer sock. It's a thing that goes on my foot. It's like male pantyhose. It stays on, and it's not like I'm catching them. This is what I don't understand. I'm not catching them on little nails or grooves in the floor or anything like that.
Maybe over time they just wear.
They disintegrate. It angerizes me. It does. Here's a good word, though. One of the things that we do on the program is called Dave's Big Dictionary. And the idea was and remains that for about 5 minutes, I will talk off the top of my head about any word that randomly we find in the dictionary. Well, the interesting thing is that recently Merriam-Webster has been doing that for us. Before, Joyce had to, scroll through the dictionary, put her finger down randomly, blah, blah, blah. Now, Webster's comes up with a word of the day. I'm actually won an award this week for web presence or something.
Web award of
Yeah.
Come on, you're a dictionary, so you got to stay relevant. I think it's brilliant.
Yeah, because how many? I actually bought this dictionary used a couple of weeks ago just to have it, a hard copy dictionary. But no, who, right? Who buys a thesaurus? Who buys a dictionary?
I know, right?
Who buys anything in terms of hard copy? But so Merriam-Webster had to pivot. Really, they had to pivot for the past 20 years. And one of the things they're doing is putting up a word of the day on all their feeds, Facebook, presumably Twitter, Instagram, wherever these things go.
Yeah.
So the
Or
Webster's,
social media.
so Ackmen, right? Their word of the day, and this is a good one, really good one, is assail, and not like on a boat. ASSAIL, assail, which is what you used to get at Loman's, 20% off.
Are there any Lomans left, David?
I don't know. Loman's is
I
gone.
wanna see. I don't
Can
think-
you check?
I think that they're all.
Loman's. I don't like shopping, but I like Loman's.
Are there any Lomans stores left?
According to Wikipedia, once the merchandise was liquidated, all stores were closed in Esopus Creek. The private equity fund, which had bought the rights to the Loman's name, continued to operate the company as an online retailer.
Sigh.
Looks like 14. Wow.
So,
Bankruptcy in 13.
10 years ago, yeah,
The last Loman closed in April 14, 2014.
a decade.
93 years they closed their stores.
This is what happens. I mean, not everything's meant to last forever, but a store that's operating for 100 years, and we used to live in a town that had a Loman's about half a mile from where we lived. So,
They had a bad business model.
well, what was the business model? They
Cast off from unsold designers.
yeah. Those guys used to get shirts. I mean, now I get them at Marshalls and what?
Increased competition got rid of it. So probably like Marshalls and all the other
Yeah,
ones.
yeah. Well, what's the other one? We got Home Goods, Max, TJ Maxx, and places like that.
Marshalls.
Burlington.
Yeah.
So, and Burlington. Well, at least one Burlington went out. I don't know if those are all going out as well. But oh well. So I am assailed with the closing of places from my childhood. I remember Robert Hall clothing. Remember? Well, you wouldn't. There was some men's. There was Robert Hall clothes,
Robert Hall.
which I think where I got my bar mitzvah suit.
Robert Hall clothing for men. Robert Hall clothes. Is it still in business?
Is it?
Flourished 1938 to 1977.
Well, they went out early, in the mid '70s. Robert Hall.
I'm sorry.
Oh yeah. I'm trying. It started as a single store in Waterbury, Connecticut, and then bankruptcy. In '77, the parent company. Anytime they mention parent company, you know it's trading hands.
When did you get bar mitzvah?
Oh, 76, maybe
So you were
75.
right near the closing of
Yeah.
it.
If it's true that I got it there, but I probably
You
did.
probably did. Why would you remember that name? It's like,
Oh, because if you lived in New York
oh,
and you were a guy, you were looking for clothing and a suit and
that's where
something.
you went?
Yeah, it was sort of the equivalent of now. What's that place that we always pass in Hunt Valley, with the men's?
Oh, JOS.
J. Crew.
J. Crew. Okay.
Yeah. So Robert Hall was like a J. Crew of its time.
Oh wow.
So, but that's gone. I remember, and you remember.
Remember Alexander's?
Alexander's.
Let's see that
I didn't
one.
even like Alexander's, but Alexander's. So yeah,
No, that's the wrong phone number.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Who's your
Give me
phone?
yours.
Oh, all right, yeah.
And A&S.
And
And
yes.
Fortunoff, right?
Is Fortunoff gone? I bet they are.
I think Fortunoff closed. Yeah, let's see.
See, when you turn our age, everything is about nostalgia. Everything becomes about remember that place. Oh, no,
Is
remember that?
Fortunoff still in business?
Yeah.
According to the Burn, today, Fortunoff's no longer sells cookware, instead focusing on outdoor tables and chairs, bar stools, pillows and cushions,
Fortunoff?
umbrellas, and other.
Says what happened. Oh, they have two businesses: Fortunoff Jewelry and Fortunoff Backyard Store.
Yeah, but Fortunoff was always closed.
It's a
And
department store.
Yeah.
They're known for jewelry.
oh, all right, yeah. I always wondered if the name. Could you look up whether the name Fortunoff was the guy's Russian
Yeah,
name
Max and
or?
Clara Fortunoff in Brooklyn.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was a great name for a store because, of course, if they had a sale, you go, take a fortune off, right?
See, these are the
Brilliant.
Two.
Huh. And what else do we used to have? Remember the Bounty Inn?
Oh yeah. What's the origin of the Fortunoff family?
According to Fortunoff, founded in
Yeah, up until, yeah.
Brownsville,
Well, they're still here,
Brooklyn,
apparently.
yeah.
Just in a different way.
Chapter 11.
Is there a company that hasn't gone Chapter 11? Some of them survived, but
Wow, it says Fortunoff and Mayrock family is 100% of the family. And then they did different stuff.
yeah. So as soon as the family sells to a parent company, within 10 years, it's like, everybody loves Shark Tank. And it's like, oh, I'll invent and we'll take over and we'll take 51% of the company. And the initial person does get rich, and then the story goes to shit. This is the American way. And then some things outlive, just somehow kind of go past their sell-by. I was just reading something.
I was always nostalgic of Fortunoff because of them being in. Oh wow, let's see.
No, but I was just reading on Facebook people commenting about, and on commentary on some of the newspaper things, like, well, The Simpsons hasn't been any good since 19 whatever
Is it still
2000.
going?
Yeah, exactly.
On TV.
People are not watching The Simpsons. People are not really watching even Family Guy and South Park. Feel like a blip because few people have cable anymore. People are just choosing what to watch or streaming. But this automatic idea of back then when it was incredibly great and you memorized all the episodes, and now it's complete shit. As opposed to and nobody watches. As opposed to saying, I've seen here and there recent Simpsons. They're pretty good. They're not garbage. They're not terrible. They're funny still. Am I going to remember priceless moments like Hans Moleman blowing up in a car, or the Family Guy Ipecac sequence? Well, those still happening? I don't know because I haven't seen these things. But I don't like this idea of saying, well, it's been around for so long, it must be crap. You as a gerontologist of all people should catch that. Like, well, when somebody's 75.
I think a lot of people just in this society, people get bored very easily, and they just want like something different really quickly.
Yeah. I mean, absolutely. Which is why this show is 3 hours long because we buck the trend, and when we do what we want, and we go off on tangents and we talk about stuff, including stuff that no longer exists. I mean, like restaurants, the Bounty Inn, which was in the town I used to live, and even your family, long before I knew you, used to go there for special occasions.
The Bounty, Milleridge, and the Bukino Club used to go there.
And then in your neighborhood, places like I didn't know until I met you,
all these German restaurants like Majbach, Von Westernhagen, all of them, yeah.
Are they all? Isn't one left? Isn't one?
Gebhardt's.
Gebhardt's. So Von Westerhagen closed.
Yeah, it became like a sports bar.
God. I mean, not that I would, even if I lived in the neighborhood, not that I would have gone to Von Westerhagen's more than 2 or 3 times a year for that kind of, heavy German food. It would have been good, but it's sort of an old, like you were walking into a German social club from 1957. But sometimes I want that. And most of the time I don't want a sports bar. I'm kind of like, there are enough sports bars. There are not a lot of old school German restaurants, that serve Jews on a plate. But no, I kid. Yeah.
What's the raw meat one? What's raw chop?
Tartar, steak tartare.
Yeah, I was like Uncle Bob, and he ate it.
Yeah, I had steak tartare once. It wasn't bad.
What does it taste? Is it really raw?
It is raw chopped meat mixed in with a raw egg yet, because if you're gonna give yourself a coli, go all the way.
Why don't they just make it in meatloaf?
Because it tastes different.
Is it good?
I liked it. I think I have ground pepper on it. The way it's served, it's chilled, it's tasty, it's refreshing.
Oh.
As long as everything is safe. It's not recommended, It's kind of like asking, well, why would people eat sushi? It's raw fish. Because a raw tuna or raw salmon or raw, don't eat raw shrimp, but some of these other yellowtail taste different from tuna in a can, or cooked tuna.
You said better.
Sometimes better, depends on your mood. Yeah. Oh, we've got like 2 bars on our Wi-Fi here. I hope it's, what's going on here? Don't go away, Wi-Fi, we need you.
I'll test it on your computer.
Yeah. Anyway, what else do I haven't told you.
The Wi-Fi's full here.
On here, I've got 2 out of 3 Zoopy Zoops. I don't know why or what that means. So who knows? It was happening last time also. I mean, the show came out fine, but it used a ton of gigabytes. So I don't know what the deal is.
Maybe because you have both platforms open.
Well, what do you mean?
Zoom and Facebook.
I shouldn't. Well, yeah,
Yeah,
but I closed down Facebook.
No, but you're going through it to post live.
Oh,
Let me see if
let me
you're
kill
posting
Safari
live.
then. Maybe that will help a little bit. Anyway, I haven't told you really the main
You want me to
impetus.
test the internet speed?
No, I'm okay. As long as nobody's complaining and we're there. Let me give you the lowdown on this 941st episode of the Dave's Gone By Facebookio Podcastio Programmio of the Stream. So, and we're here live on this Saturday morning, April 27th, 2024. So, I've told you we're going to have Dave's big dictionary with the word assail. I'm going to have to talk about it for a few minutes, come up with something. We'll also have Bunion Watch. We will also go to Greeley, Colorado for Greeley Times.
Yeah, you're posting. Look.
Yeah, good. That's the most important thing. Greeley Times, which happens, we're
Here, I'll post. How are you feeling? Maybe we'll entice people.
oh yeah. Ask them how they're doing.
I gotta post it. Okay, what's on your mind? How are you? Let's see. I'm feeling what today? What are you feeling?
Mm-hmm.
Happy, loved, lovely, sad, blessed, thankful, in love, grateful, festive, cool, relaxed, chill, joyful, positive, hopeful, tired, proud, okay, angry, fresh, determined, exhausted, lucky, heartbroken, sleepy, energized, professional, peaceful, pain, disappointment, optimistic, cold, cute, super, funny.
Wow. So the 2 words I was going for, horny and sociopathic, are not on there.
Can you pick another one?
Homicidal.
You want super?
Ooh, super's cute. I'm feeling super.
Or you want funny?
Funny. Definitely funny. Always funny. But on this episode of the Dave's Gone By show, all these wonderful things. We go to Greeley, Colorado for Greeley Times, which are phone calls that come into, real phone calls that come into the Greeley and Evans Police Department in northern Colorado. Plus, we will also have our Colorado Limerick of the Damned, where we will be going to Ackmen, Colorado. Little town, Ackmen, Ackmen, and I've written a short poem about it that I will share with you. If you think isn't that enough for a show already?
That's a lot.
I believe it is, but I haven't even mentioned the best parts. So, we will have a guest in the Daverhood joining us in about half an hour. He is a director, he is a playwright, he's also a theater teacher, and has been doing this for quite a few years now. And he's got a new show that's going to be opening at Theater for the New City, off Broadway, in a couple of weeks. His name is David Willinger. And if you know that name, it's because he's been doing shows at Theater for the New City for every couple of years. He has a new play up. This one is called, and I love the title on this, Bring Them Back. Bring Them Back, and it's happening May 9th through the 19th at TNC over on First Avenue in downtown New York. And no, I mean, as much as I love the title, it's not about what you think it's about, considering our current world situation. But David Willinger will be with us in the Dibber talking about that show, talking about his life in theater, and his career and all of that. He'll be speaking, of course, with the one, the only, the Jewish Rabbi Saul Solomon of blessed memory. Rabbi Saul will do the honors on that, and we have brought Rabbi Saul back for another rabbinical reflection. These are his mini sermons, his thoughts on the world at large from a Jewish perspective. And he did one about Passover last week. If you scroll back down on Facebook or check davesgoneby.com, you can rewatch it. But he's got another Passover reflection, this one including a prayer that he wrote all by his lonesome. So yeah, I mean, it literally says you can append this to your Haggadahs. It's a prayer for the middle to end of Passover, because we're in the midst of it right now. It goes on, I think, through Tuesday night. So yes, a special Pesach prayer, and I'm wearing the appropriate matzah-colored garmenting for it, Don't miss it. Rabbi Saul going to be up later, not only talking to David Willinger, but offering his Passover prayer.
I'm watching you on Facebook.
I'm looking good. I am looking good, baby. Oh,
I
yeah.
love the way you did it. It looks like the numbers just got thrown up. It looks so cool.
Well,
Oh,
thank you.
look.
Oh, what?
What happened?
Oh, I hear you. I hear me. There you go. Like the sound got turned on or
Yeah,
something.
I don't know what happened.
It's a phone. Phones have minds of their own.
Say hi to Lauren.
Say hi to. Hi. Thank you for watching, Lauren. Hello. Any other? Nobody else? Any thumbs up? Any
I have
anything?
trouble on your phone. I'm slow to look.
My phone it overheated this week because it was literally in my breast pocket while I was outside in the sun. I wasn't even in direct sunlight.
Maybe your heart rate.
Heck, my heart was racing.
You have a heart rate like a hummingbird. David,
I did.
Were you drinking the honey? Remember we bought that hummingbird syrup?
Oh,
I can't find the bag anymore. Did you just drink it without concentrating?
I mixed it with Red Bull.
And then because I can see maybe that's why.
Yeah, I don't know. But I must have had a very, very fast constitution when, in my zeros through my 40s, because I didn't put on much weight at all. I was skinny and I was tons of energy. I still have tons of energy.
You do. I don't know how you do it.
But I have the belly now. So I lost. I do have the middle-aged man's. Am I post-middle-aged yet? I'm 60. Am I old?
No, you're good looking.
Well, thank you.
You're a little sprite of love.
Why am I wearing these actually? But
you like wearing your glasses. You told me you enjoy them.
I forget they're on, and with the right pair, not necessarily these.
I love what
I'm actually better looking.
The
but
numbers look great. Like they're awesome. It looks so cool the way you did it.
Well, thank you, dear.
It's like a number halo of all the numbers, and it's hard to make out that that's a potato sticker.
That is a potato sticker.
You can't make it out online. It's too small to see online.
Let me see.
David, please, he's got the retainer. David, that's mean. How's he doing?
What does it mean? He wants to see the potato sticker.
Let me fix this teeth. I'll fix him.
He might need some Kank A.
I'll give him some surgery. Hold on.
Joyce is going to fix Potato's retainer. Oh, she's fixing the teeth. Because the retainer straightened them a little bit. But let's angle them properly. I think it is. This is the joke here, by the way. The running, unintentional joke here. Oh, so much better. Look at him now.
It's working, see?
Yeah.
How you like it, potato?
I like my mouth.
But you gotta lower the retainer over the teeth, potato. Remember I told you? Maybe you go to the dentist with Daddy.
Oh, please. I have a dental appointment this week.
Take potato with you with the retainer.
Oh, I'm going to take potato.
Maybe she can adjust his retainer.
I think she would get a kick out of that. I honestly
love
do.
it. Yeah, take pictures of it and put it on their interwebs. Yeah.
I don't know if they would do
Remember
that.
when we went to the dentist? We used to go in Colorado and they were fixing our teeth, and you brought the life-size Kermit in to the office, and you put it in a chair, and everybody took pictures with it, including the patients and the
I don't
staff.
remember that.
Yes,
but, yeah.
remember there was a guy who was like, "I'm a farmer. I never saw nothing like this." And then all the girls took pictures of it.
Yeah. No, yeah. We had a nice dentist at a dentist's office when we were living in Colorado. She was a sweetie. She was like.
There was three of them, I think. So were three.
Yeah, and they were very cool. And so I tumbled with them, and I would bring literally for a while. I found in a not a yard sale, in a thrift store for like $5 or Joyce saying a ditch for $5 or $10. I bought this enormous Kermit. That's bigger than me, and sometimes I would have it in the passenger seat of the car when I was driving, not to get into the HOV lane or anything like that, but just because. I would bring it to. Remember, I used to bring it to the pancake restaurant we used to go to.
You remember, yeah, and they loved it.
Yeah. I would just literally bring in our.
You're a very sick man.
Yes, I. Well, either I bring like 20 potatoes and I put them around the table, and that was kind of a beautiful thing too. But this was an enormous. It wasn't life-size Kermit. It was 12 times Kermit. What's that? What?
It's great.
But and I just would bring this enormous Kermit. And one time I brought it to the dentist and had him sit in the waiting room. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no reason for.
We used to have it in the passenger seat of our Impreza. It was, he was there for a long time.
I don't know if I've been recording this meeting.
What do you mean?
I thought I was. Oh, I am. Is that?
Well, I know that you're doing it live. I can see you.
Yeah, it's showing the being live. So it used to give me a thing that your meeting is being recorded.
You can see it up in the corner. You see it?
No, they've changed the look a little bit of the Zoom thing. So they're showing this meeting is being live streamed, but I just checked, and yes, it is being recorded because it has the stop recording and pause recording
Yeah,
buttons.
that's good.
So that helps. That's good. Anyway, I'm Dave Lefkowitz. That's my wonderful wife Joyce. You are watching the Dave's Gone By show.
What time is your guest coming?
Guest is coming at 10 o'clock.
Oh,
David
geez.
Willinger. Yeah, well, we've got like 20 minutes to yap and talk and see if there's other stuff we want to do. Oh, I was going to say that it would have been nice to end the show a little early today, and we might, because this is the weekend
I
of
don't think they're going to do it.
the big yard sale. And it's not like a local, it's like a community.
It's like all the neighbors in the area get
Put their
together.
crap out. Yeah. And I love that. I just love poking through people's stuff, seeing if there's anything that's kind of funny or weird.
The sugar right here.
Yeah. So I'm like on the lookout, and I love a bargain, and I love sort of seeing something that's like, oh, I can't believe they have this, and then corralling it for myself. But the joke of this show, and I mention this so often, is that since we've been doing it from Maryland for about 20-something months, that we've moved from New York to northern Maryland, we live in a lovely area, suburban area, and the weather is generally quite nice most of the days, most of the week. And yet something about Saturday mornings, when I get on here, you would figure I'm living in the darkest Seattle tundra. Because no matter, every Saturday just about, it's either grim and gray and raining or snowing, or it's not sleeting, but it's because it's too warm. But just, we never have, except once in a very blue moon, a sunny, beautiful Saturday morning. And people must watch this show thinking I'm crazy, thinking, oh, you poor guy, you live in this constantly overcast London town. I'm like, no, it's just Saturdays. Something about this day of the week. Maybe God wants everybody in synagogue and so he's punishing people who want to go out and do things. So he makes it rainy and icky. I don't know. But there's this supposedly massive community yard sale going on a bunch of streets, all these different houses, people putting stuff out, and there's going to be a car show of some sort locally. They all congregate and do all these things in the same weekend for everybody to enjoy on this Saturday morning, weather presumably permitting. And so they've been predicting for the middle of the day, from like 11 o'clock on, strong possibility of showers. So not actual 90% chance of rain, but showers 50%. So what do you do? How do you eat? You pull all your stuff out, and it's like, oh crap! You bring it all back in, and it looks like it is misty, drizzling, raining now. There's a window here. I'm trying to get a sense, and I can't really tell.
Yeah, no, it's hard to tell.
But it looks damp.
I wouldn't put my stuff out, would you?
I know what you. People have tarps, and then you roll over the tarp. But it's a day when you want to go spaziering, as the word, the Yiddish word we would use. When you want to just go out there and drift, and maybe the sun is strong, so wear a hat. You don't want to get sunburn this time of year. It's the end of April, for crying out loud, and yet. So I hope, I don't know. I've tried logging in or finding more information about the local yard sale, but there's nothing updated or new, or saying, yeah, it's postponed, we're going to move it to a week later. Remember they did that with the Easter Bunny thing?
Yeah.
They're going to have an egg hunt and free pizza or something? Yeah.
At the school near us. Well, because I guess they said they don't want kids rolling around in the mud,
That's what kids do. Kids are such snowflakes now. It's like children. I hated it. I was a snowflake. I did not like to get my hands dirty. I didn't like playing in mud, playing in dirt, doing anything with dirt, mud.
You don't like soap.
Well, if I don't get dirty, I don't have to use soap.
I hate soap.
I don't like soap. I don't like
soap.
I mean, I use it. Please understand, folks. I use soap.
Why?
I shower. I wash my hands. I use soap. I'm not a soap fan. I don't like soap.
Why do you hate soap?
I just don't like soap. But I also don't like schmutz. I never did. But children, at least boy children, that's the sexist way of thinking about it, are supposed to want to get out there and roll in the sand pit and, smear mud on themselves and get dirty and go in there, because these are people, also presumably, they're going to grow up and they're going to work under cars. And if a little oil gets on you, and there's oil on your hands and under your fingernails, or you go and you do gardening, or you do lawn work or yard work, or you work on machines and you fix air conditioning units. This is what men, I know, sexist, what men do and should want to do. This should be somehow coded into their genetic DNA. But now it's like dirt. No, can't have dirt. Can't. And I was always like that. That was never for me. But anyway, but now kids don't want to go out in the rain. They don't want to do anything. Oh, this is sweet. This is nice. Thank you to the person who posted this. Absolute matzah, baby. Yeah. So, I don't think we now have quite the time to do Greeley Times.
There's 41. Why don't you do?
I do some other stuff. How about I could get Bunion watch out of the way, or we're gonna get that sock I throw. What is this? Oh, look at it! The big Idaho potato tour. Well, honey, they're showing a lot of food.
That's potato.
Oh, okay, yeah. There's ice cream.
That's
Why would they?
Potato.
Yeah. Oh, there's a man eating ice cream. I don't know.
I think they're potato wedges. No.
Well, he had one of those ice cream scoopy things, so I don't know what. There's a girl twirling. Hello. There's a man. That's a nugget. No, I'm sorry.
Is it chicken nuggets?
I don't think so. I don't think so either. Yeah, but this is upsetting. There were baked potatoes with cheese on them.
Oh, it looks good.
It doesn't. It looks terrible. Potato. It's an awful thing. I'm so sorry.
Baked potato chips and ketchup. It's chicken nuggets.
Wait, did you say ketchup?
And some sort of ice cream.
Did you say ketchup?
Yeah, it looks really good.
Did you say ketchup again? I love ketchup. Yeah, see, they love the ketchup. How's your teeth? How's your face?
How's his teeth doing?
Not too bad. Let me see if I can whistle. Oh, not bad today.
Oh wow.
Whoa, potato. That's pretty damn good. Can you do a song maybe?
Honey. No. He's gonna lose his teeth.
Yeah. Say, what happened? You were do one or two notes. There you go. So how about singing Cheryl Wheeler's potato or whistling Cheryl Wheeler's potato song?
Why is he?
I don't know. He needs to work on it.
He needs practice.
We should have Steve the Whistler Herbst.
Yeah. Well, he had to fix his
train him.
microphone. We could see him whistling, but we couldn't hear him. That was weird.
Well, that was probably on our end.
Oh, look at this here.
Yeah.
Your community. Look what you just said. AI.
Why would it do that? Look, this is what comes up on Joyce's phone. Or my phone, actually. Yeah. Heinz.
Yeah.
And that was the next thing that came up. Wow. Under, what, was that a feed or where's that coming up from?
Facebook.
Wow. Our computers, our phones know everything.
The community wants deluxe mac and cheese, Heinz ketchup, Kraft zesty Italian, and then real Kraft tomato.
I wouldn't mind being a zesty Italian. Oh.
You did, baby.
Oh, technically, yes. Technically. I still don't know if you're Austrian, really, Tyrolean, which is lower Austria, upper Italy. So I'm not sure which.
Also with Daddy and them on Balkan, so.
Well, I'm not balking at that. Ooh. This has been my folder for weeks. We might as well do this.
What is
this
it?
is kind of fun. I don't know where I picked this up or why I picked this up. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, the problem of homelessness and hygiene. It was a terrible problem.
Girl Scouts?
From the Girl Scouts.
Oh, good. That was in their library. It's probably one of the kids' badge projects.
I know. Well,
so can you educate us? What's the problem?
Well, the thing is, how many homeless Girl Scouts are there, and how bad is their hygiene?
You joined a yard sale group?
Yes, this morning.
Jesus
we were
Christ.
trying to look.
They just accepted your request to join.
Yeah, I was trying to find out the timonium.
What it is people selling nasty old stuff. That's what it is.
Or I saw it come out of the group. You asked me to go looking for stuff.
I didn't say join a group where people.
It's the only way to look at where it is on Facebook. Educate people to reduce the stigma. Okay, this is goals for the Girl Scout Gold Award. First of all, not get molested. That's not on here, but B, improve self-esteem. D, giving people the products they cannot acquire. All right, so basically handouts, charity. I love this. Hygiene bag creation. Make it yours. How'd you like to have a hygiene bag?
Yeah, I need one. I'm stinky.
To get started making your own hygiene bag, all you must do is gather trial-sized toiletries like shampoo, conditioner, Kleenex, toothbrush, toothpaste, chapstick.
I should bring that into work. That's a good idea.
Yeah, how about a
Not
needs
the
bag?
shampoo, but I like the
Snacks, because snacks are part of hygiene, and place them in any bag like a gallon-sized Ziploc, and donate the ones you make to a local homeless shelter. So create hygiene bags to deliver to Baltimore Rescue Mission, which is a shelter in Baltimore City. And if you do that, you are aiding a site that provides materials directly to homeless people. And Gordon B. Hinckley, I don't know who that is, here's a quote: "The happiest people I know are those who lose themselves in the service of others." The most terrified people I know are those who lose themselves in a forest. And their phone gets no Wi-Fi, and basically they're dead.
cannibals too. They're most terrifying.
Okay, yeah.
Or zombies.
Mm.
Those are the two.
They are the
if
word,
you live
yeah.
in a world with zombies and cannibals, or both. I have a colleague who does like a zombie fighting game, and oh
Really?
my god,
Oh, well.
I don't understand how anybody. I mean, I was raised in like death culture. I think like you don't want to see like. I said, how can you play that game? And people play it. Like, how can you play a zombie game?
Like anything else, I can play any kind of scary.
I can. I'm a baby. Like, I don't like. I once saw a horror movie. I remember in Pennsylvania, and it was something where there were like little like men, and they came and did something. They were like horrible, like tricksters.
Yeah.
And I was so scared.
Oh yeah.
And like when I saw Friday the 13th or whatever, I was with my friend on the bus. We were petrified. Like,
Yeah.
I don't like that.
I don't watch horror movies either. I don't enjoy the experience of being. So you were watching past week or two.
But I don't mind the murder stuff.
The murder stuff, even some of the murder stuff, I find disturbing, and I don't want to have that in my head. I don't. Joyce has been watching Killing Eve, which looks like a lot of fun. It's really well done.
Yeah.
Although the actress is hot, so it's like all these good reasons to watch a show.
Basically, she's like a sociopath or psychopath,
Yeah.
and she kills people.
Who kills people, and as you said, she not only kills people, but she enjoys watching them die.
Yes.
There are a lot of people in this world right now that I would love to watch die.
Yeah,
Hundreds.
But it's TV. It's not real.
Yeah, but still, I don't get off on sadistic. I mean, you would think I would with my sense of humor.
I don't watch it for the murders. I want to understand the character, like what, because the premise of the show is like, what makes her that way? Like what they're trying to go back and forth, like what created somebody like this? Like that's what I find fascinating.
Well, Eve was trained, or not Eve. The other character, the Russian one, was trained to be a killing machine.
Yeah.
They said she was literally bred to be nothing more than
Yes.
a killing machine, and so brainwashed and so forth.
Yeah.
Fine. I understand that psychology. I don't want to see her killing people in all these different ways. It's not what I choose to
What do you
watch.
Dr. Demento?
If only Dr. Mento were a video pod. I would.
What do you watch on TV then?
Well, I watch movies now because I'm trying to court.
What's his name? Carr.
Oh, Jimmy Carr was no. What have I did get to watch. I think you would. I don't know if you would enjoy it, but the Oscar-winning movie Everything Everywhere All at Once. I finally got to see that.
What is the?
Especially having watched Killing Eve, because there's a ton of violence, but it's almost all weirdly cartoony comic.
But what's the premise of the show?
The premise is this middle-aged to older Asian woman whose family, she and her family, own this failing laundromat. And her daughter, she's not communicating well with her daughter, who's a lesbian, and her husband, she's so busy she can't really communicate with her husband, so he's thinking of filing for a divorce just as an attention thing to get her to
Oh my God.
relate to, and they have to visit the tax lady. And they're delinquent on tax, and they owe some, they're going to lose everything. So they go, and within that context, they open. She discovers, and she's one of these 1 in a gazillion people, that there really is, or really are, almost what's the word? Infinite, multiple universes.
Oh, nice! I would like that.
So there's a universe. I don't want to give it away if you're going to see it because I watch it again. There's a universe where all the people have hot dog hot dogs for fingers.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's a lot, and I wouldn't have shown it to you like when you have migraines and stuff because it's
Oh,
very,
no, I
very.
can't. Yeah, no.
Yeah,
We're
I mean,
gonna
there's
go.
the cutting, the editing on this thing is
Yeah.
things last 1 millimeter of a second sometimes when she's
Why?
bouncing through universes,
No.
but it all centers, and this is how insane this movie is
Yeah.
because it throughout. I mean, it's touching at times too, but it's also comic all the way through, and the whole universe is contained. I'm not kidding you about this. Within the center of a bagel. Have I spoiled it for you, folks?
Oh, I'm also watching Norma, which is an Argentinian film about that woman who's very like the maid leaves her. She's with her mom dies. She's not that close to her sister. She thinks her husband's having an affair. She meets a friend who's a therapist to try to help her. Like there's a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, but Norma isn't my kind of thing, but I would watch it because it's not sadistic. It's drama.
We don't know yet. We don't know yet.
Well, or this other show you're watching, the What About Todd?
Oh, that's interesting.
It's fun. It's funny.
Yeah,
It's enjoyable.
It's like a sitcom.
Yes, I like that.
Yeah.
I like good sitcoms, not crappy ass sitcoms, but that's my thing. And watching though Everything Everywhere All at Once, and I'm finally catching up on 2 years late. It does also give me perspective on like Citizen Kane, which I showed in my film class this past week, expecting everyone to bow down and thank me for, because some of them had seen Citizen Kane, but even though they were film students and juniors and seniors, about 3/4 of them had never seen Citizen Kane. So it's kind of like, here it is. Here is the iconic totem of world filmmaking, all in this one extraordinary movie that still works, even though it feels a little longish in spots. And I'm sure that I'm to a person almost. I'm sure they have this feeling like, boy, that was something back in 1936 or 38 when Wells directed it. That was then, and now I'm glad I got to see it. I'm never going to watch it again. And parts were great, and parts were overdone. And these are people though who grew up on movies like Everything Everywhere All at Once, where what Orson Welles does in 15 minutes of Kane, the Daniels people, the people who directed everything, doing about 2.5 minutes. It's like everything that Welles threw at the camera.
Yes.
They can you'll see that 50 times over and over again in Everything Everywhere All at Once. So their visual and film grammar vocabulary is so huge compared to what mine was when I went to NYU back in the early 80s. So to me, even seeing, and this was the first time I've ever seen Kane on a big screen. I've seen it only on television all my life.
Oh, wow.
So I was still like wowed by it. But I could also understand, I'm like,
David, you're wowed by a chipmunk, so,
I am, or a little marmot thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, please, I'm talking about, if I tell you, in the car, I'm listening to an audiobook, God help me, of someone reading Henry David Thoreau's Walden.
Oh, I love Walden.
The guy was a nut.
No, he wasn't. He was a naturalist. He was beautiful.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes he's great, and sometimes he's a complete, like, hypocritical idiot. But he writes well when he's not boring you to tears. But the thing was, he has this whole chapter of like, he loves the fish, and he loves the pond and the thing, and the birds, they do this, and the insects skip along, but he will kill the occasional woodchuck. He hates the woodchuck, eat up all his crops.
Yeah.
These are the beloved marmots, the prairie dogs. That I love! Even Henry David Thoreau is killing, these prairie dogs. So I almost pulled over the car. I was like, my God, man.
The horror.
You make room for every other creature, and that everything has this natural cycle, and birds eat the fish, and the fish eat this, and there's this thing, and no.
He doesn't like
I'll kill and eat the occasional woodchuck. It's like, oh, all right, Henry David. And by the way, he was on somebody else's land for most of the time.
Wow.
So he was essentially a squatter.
That's not good.
And he would come in basically for me, he'd go visit. If it was a really cold and snowy day, he'd stay over at his friend's house that was a mile and a half away. He was so full of shit. You know, it was nice thinking, but it is kind of like in the real world application of things. Yeah, yeah, you can page through Walden without going through. I'm tempted, but not tempted to read civil disobedience right now, just because. But anywho, oh my God, it's 4 minutes until 10 o'clock in the morning. So
I'll make you a tea, honey.
yeah, thank you.
'Cause you'll need it.
But I'm hoping. Let me check my mail just to make sure that we're all set
no,
with.
you didn't get anything. What's the person? I'll look.
Oh well, it's going to be David Willinger. He is a playwright.
Is he the one emailing you, or would it be somebody else on his behalf?
It would well, I have emails both to him and to
You have
the press
nothing
agent,
new.
which were confirmed yesterday.
You have nothing new. It just says,
Good. Oh yeah.
I sent you something about a cat being packed in an Amazon package. He's okay.
Wow.
Yeah, that's horrible.
How long was the trip? What
6
happened?
days.
You're kidding me.
No, here. Oh, here.
I can see this. I didn't.
You gotta be up on stuff.
Oh my God! I mean, we could save this for Greeley Times, but a couple accidentally shipped their cat in an Amazon return package. It arrived safely 6
they returned
days.
it to the. They were returning something. I guess the cat they didn't want.
The cat probably got in there somehow.
They climb in. Cats love it. What happened?
It was trapped in a box without food or water for 6 days.
Oh my God.
The cat named Galena was discovered safe and well in California. She noticed the pet had gone missing April 10th.
Hello?
So they searched the house, they searched the neighborhood.
Didn't they know they had mailed a package?
They didn't know they had a package with a cat in it. Yeah, they were anxiety and stress, no kidding. She then received a text notifying her that Galena's microchip had been scanned, and she got a call from a vet in California.
Oh my goodness. Where was she shipped from?
The shortest distance between Utah and California is several hundred miles.
Jeepers. The cat was on a plane? How did it go?
Would Amazon have trucked it? Or, I don't know.
I don't know.
Let me see. People increasingly online stores have brick and mortar, The cat was rescued from the box. They found it in the warehouse.
Could you imagine? I'll tell you, when I was moving, I had something that made a sound like a toy, and the guy put the box in. He's like, did you have a cat? I was like, no. Because they said a lot of times when they move, the cats, not dogs, but cats go in the box.
They'll jump in and you won't
They're
know.
Used to it. Yeah, but you gotta, even when I lived with Teresa in Philly, before I ever did laundry or the dryer, the washer or the dryer, I emptied everything out and I felt for the cats and I counted them. Because they like clothing and they like to be in there.
Technically, you're not supposed to start a car without checking for some animal, in the winter.
That happened to my grandfather at a station wagon in Florida. And I said, Grandpa, what are you doing? And he said, one of the cats had kittens. And he would check because I said, it's hot in Florida. He said, at night it gets cold and the kittens go under the engine if the engine's warm.
There you go. And then you start it and boom, the fur goes flying, literally. But how a cat or anything can live fairly comfortably for 6. This is why cats are finicky eaters.
Nobody ever heard it? Nobody heard the package going, I'm sure it.
Well, little baby kitten, maybe it's in a factory, in a warehouse with fans and air conditioning and heaters and plumbing and everything.
The Amazon person or whoever picked it up, didn't they hear it? Didn't they, when you take the package, didn't they hear the...
You're probably doing it outside with traffic.
Might have been sleeping too.
Yeah, conserving energy after the 3rd day. You're not going to expend any.
I wonder how they shipped it back.
UPS though, we're not going to spend. Don't beg us, sis. Can't afford. Anyway, oh my God, it's 10 o'clock and we have a guest waiting in the waiting room to talk with the one, the only, the Jewish Rabbi Saul Solomon. It will be David Willinger. He has a play that's going to be done in a couple of weeks at Theater for the New City in New York. So he's going to be talking to Rabbi Saul about that and about his career and all sorts of things right now on Dave's Gone By, so don't go away. Zissing Pesach, my friends. This is your old pal, Rabbi Sol Solomon. I am the founder of Temple Sons of Bitches in Great Neck, New York, and I am delighted to spend this Passover Shabbos with you, as well as with a guest who is with us in the Daverhood. This is a man who started, you can see from his face, he started as an actor and then kind of morphed into a playwright, director, and a teacher. He's had several shows that he's written and directed performed at Theater for the New City downtown in New York, including the Open Gate a few years back and the hybrid, I want to hear about this, the hybrid show Existence, and he has done shows adapting everyone from Charles Dickens to Isaac Bashevis Singer, from an anti-Semite to a Semite. Beautiful. He has also specialized in Jewish subjects, and he's a professor of theater at City College of New York. And most importantly, for the moment, he has a new show that's going to be opening at Theater for the New City on May 9th. It's called Bring Them Back. And we're going to talk to him all about that. Won't you welcome to the Daverhood, shalom, to David Willinger. Shalom, David. Oh, wait, you got to unmute. You got to unmute your microphone. We can't hear a word you're saying.
Shalom, Rabbi.
There you go. Oh, shalom to you.
Ma shlomecha?
Wow. How do you know? So you are a serious Jew person. Is Willinger what your family had at Ellis Island? Was it shortened from Willingerowitz or something, or what?
No, I think it was just pronounced differently. Willinger.
But are you Jew or G, by the way?
Good. Oh, me, I'm Jew. That was my grandparents' choice, I guess. But I've stuck with it. But they were, I'm sure, Willinger at Ellis Island, and it sounded British enough to keep.
They were ready and willing. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. So when I first saw the title of your play, the new one,
you thought it was something else. You thought it was something else.
I mean, the timing of it, I'm sure you wrote it like 2 years ago or something, but the timing of Bring Them Back, I'm like, yes, goddammit, the hostages, get them the fuck out of where they are, kill Hamas, burn Gaza, yes, but no, it has nothing at all, unfortunately, to do with any of that. What is Bring Them Back about?
Well, I really finished the first draft of it around October 5th last year. So
it is recent, yeah.
It's recent, but I could have brought that other subject into it in some way, but that wouldn't have been honest. It was basically done at that point. So who we're bringing back? It could be the dead hostages, but not the living ones.
It's a comedy, a fun show.
It's a fun show about. Well, it is if it could happen that the dead would come back. I'll lie.
Jerry Garcia first, and then maybe Robert Hunter. So that would be it.
Well, we want certain people and not others, and that's part of the issue in the play. That sometimes if we start bringing them back, you get people you don't want. But that there's some comedy, right? Potentially.
So it's not a Kabbalah kind of thing. But what is who are you bringing back in, and what is it about there?
Well, it really starts with the Amidah, which you may be familiar with, and
5 times this morning already. I can never get it right. Yes.
Did you? You're keeping me from doing it.
We can do it together. Come on. Let me hear.
Baruch atah Adonai. All right, I think we might do a different version. I have a different melody, maybe.
Oh, go ahead. Let me hear yours.
Well, you know it. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, v'emotenu, ve'avoteinu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov. You don't know that one?
I do, but I love it. While you're singing, there's this woman behind you walking and just kind of looking like, who is this person doing Jewish prayers on the internet?
Right. And believe it or not, a shiksa.
Oh, well, we'll forgive her. Yeah.
Thank you, Rabbi. Well, if you forgive me, then it's okay.
Unless she's anti-Semitic, in which case.
Oh, no. She's very interested. No, she's my wife. That's Peggy.
Oh, mit mazel. Shalom, Peggy. What's her Hebrew name?
She makes a mean latke.
Oh, really? This is I'm making angry latke.
What do you mean with hot pepper?
There you go. Exactly. Or anybody I serve my food to gets angry. So it's just,
Oh no.
so
Well, in any case, so
who's
he
bringing
in
what
the
now?
Amidah, as you know, he says "V'chaye hametim," bring
Back to
and
dead. Yeah.
he brings the dead back to life. That is an attribute. That's how I understand it of the Almighty, and perhaps in former times, maybe it's referring to specific Bible stories uh, that were brought back to life. Um, but so Paul says this over and over, as we all do, those who practice, and he who is so bereft and destitute because more people he knows have died than are living at this point in his life, um, is very frustrated with God. And
Who isn't? Yeah. All right. Yeah.
listen, but about this specifically, that he is living in isolation following COVID. He's never come back from isolation. He's still there, and he turns over and over and over in his head all those he's lost: friends, family, cats, everything, everybody, and there's no recourse. It's one of
We've
those
lost
things.
Cats and Phantom of the Opera. Fairly recently at the same time. It's
And Mrs. Katz upstairs, maybe. But anyway, so it's a very bad situation for him since he's obsessed with this issue, and so he has taken to the Kabbalah, and he's found in Aryeh Kaplan's book on the Kabbalah toward the end. Do you know? Do you know it?
I do not know.
Oh
I
my
don't know
God!
anything. I'm barely Jewish myself. I just play one on TV.
And the payas? What is the payas?
And this is ear hair.
Anyway, so I'll, for one thing, I don't believe you, but that's all right. So he takes to this recipe from Aryeh Kaplan for raising the dead,
Oh yeah, and so
and he's it's a losing proposition because you have to do it for 35 hours. These rituals, I, oh, they, with the consonants
those are
from
like acting vocal warm-ups. What the
they're right in there. Well, it wasn't me who invented it. It was
Ah,
Abelard.
baby, momu, acha, locha, boy. Yeah, there it is. Yeah.
But the syllables, the consonants from the forbidden name of God, and in all different in Kabbalistic fashion, all different combinations with the vowels, the Hebrew vowels,
Yeah, no.
and
Some people say I should have it my way. I say no, have it Yahweh.
oh, he said it. Okay, on the Sabbath too. Anyway, so what's going to happen on Yom Kippur? I'd ask you, Rabbi. Now that you did that. Anyway, never mind. Never mind. So he's doing this, and it's supposed to take 36 hours, but he keeps making mistakes. He keeps losing the recipe, having to start over because if you make a mistake or you put a pause in, you have to start over with this 36-hour ritual. And anyway, in the middle of it, his old friend Trudy comes into his apartment. She has his key, and she's gonna, she gets into the kitchen, starts, making hummus, and somebody's gonna visit us in a second. Look at this.
Oh, right. Oh, hello there. Oh,
Khatul.
what a cute, what an adorable pussy you have. And you have a cat, which is good. So yes.
And so she starts making noise in the kitchen and he can't concentrate, and so the whole thing's interrupted and he starts getting into an argument with her, and meanwhile what happens? The dead start coming back.
Now, famous celebrity dead or dead from his life that are problematic? Yeah.
From his life, that is to say, they come back in affinity groups, starting with I'm giving away everything. They start starting with.
But yeah.
It's okay, but starting with because telling about it is really it gives nothing away because it's a very theatrical experience that one has to have firsthand. And so first his family members, and I think what he wants to do with each of these groups is to finish things off that were left unfinished. Call the aunts he hadn't called, say he loved whomever, get so-and-so to love each other, all these, yearnings that since they died were impossible.
Now, let me ask you a quick question. when they're brought back, is it a permanent thing or they have a day?
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing. In other words, the theatrical form this takes is there are two live actors, which is Paul.
Big actors? What, huh? No, what do you mean?
Well, in the show, there are only two live actors. There's Paul, who's doing the rituals, and Trudy, his old family friend, and all the dead appear on video.
Oh, oh.
So they never really get beyond video existence. One hopes that they would step out of the screen or that he could go into the screen, but that proves futile. And so they come back in a half existence. That's really what happens.
But are they there permanently or just for the moment that he can say hi to them and tell them he loves them, but then they gotta go, all right.
Well, either in different groups, different things happen. That's part of the drama. That with the family, it's the same old dysfunctional family. You know, it's like he really can't make a dent in this mess. And with his friends, he could say that he loves them and beg them to come back and take the next step.
Yeah.
Sante. And but they don't do it. They oh, there's B. And
There you go.
you are. I'm
So,
sure you are. I'm sure you are. And with the lovers, you can imagine what he tries to do. But
I can, but I can't say that on television. Yes.
but and you can also imagine how it ultimately goes, and so on. So there's drama in these eventualities, and this hope that this time maybe the group will stay. Except the one where he makes the most impact is with his enemies. There's a group of enemies,
All right.
and to be perfectly honest, they are able to apologize and say they love each other.
Oh, well, there you go. Unlike real life, in which we
Except you said I'm an academic, right? You said I'm a professor at City College, and so the one person he can't forgive is the dean of humanities and arts. That's impossible. That person's unforgivable, and he goes back to hell where he was staying the whole time.
Let me ask you: when you've written a lot of, you've been a professor for a bunch of years. Have students ever come to your shows and thought, "Oh my God, that's me"? You can use their name, of course, but did they sort of see themselves? Because you wrote one that involved young people and students and college
Well,
kids. Yeah.
no, I don't know. I wrote one about COVID actually. But most of the time it's not about them. No, it's I always try when I can to use former students as actors. As my whole crew is my former students. In this case, unfortunately, it's a two-person show, so I the casting precluded it. But I'm so in awe of them and love working with them and never wanted to stop. They graduate. What can I do? And but many of them are actually in the videos, and so come see them. That's a treat.
And by the way, speaking of students in video, and I think this is wonderful, you made a movie about a decade ago where
Oh, that was about them.
Yeah,
That was about them.
So,
You're right. You're right. Yeah,
wasn't
that was
that beyond? I mean, you just have to teach a couple of classes and publish a paper here and there. You went and made a full-length, feature-length movie thing with the students. Tell us about this thing.
Well, I love cinema, and I didn't train in cinema. I'm a theater person and been a theater person since I was 13. So, but I love movies, and it was a dream to make a movie. And at some point in my life, I got this little inheritance, and I said, "Okay, what'll I do with that? I'm not going to save it. I'm not going to buy a house. I'm going to make a movie."
You could have donated it to my shul. We could have. Yes, we still could. And do you have anything left over, or did you piss it all the way on theater?
The movie, which was budgeted at exactly the amount that I inherited, cost twice as much. That's what happened. So nothing's left over for anybody's shuls, unfortunately. It put me, for the first time in my life, in debt.
Oh, yeah, I'm so sorry for that. I'm asking, and this was long enough ago, though, that you would have shot on video. You wouldn't have been using like 16 millimeter or 35 millimeter. So it wouldn't have been that expensive for that, or editing equipment you could have done. Was it craft services? What cost?
It was, I knew so little about filmmaking that I really thought I had to hire a professional crew to really do it properly. I didn't, do a handheld, cell phone or something. And so that's really what it cost. It was quite costly for the crew and all that stuff.
That was just
Um,
a full length movie. You're gonna
and a
do this full
full-length
length movie
movie.
for $4,000. It's just not gonna happen.
But lighting and sound equipment, the real thing, and so it cost a pretty penny. It was worth every penny. It was so exciting to make, and but in the middle of it, because even though it cost for me relatively a lot of money, one of the people who oops, one of the people, the cat just knocked over all the cat dishes. One of the people who held up the lights turned to me and said, it's impossible to make a low budget, large cast movie. It can't be done. And he was telling me, don't expect this ever to come to fruition. But he was wrong.
It was
Uh,
wrong. Got it done. This is good. I wish I could. Is there a place that people can see it though?
it played in movie theaters. Anyone who's interested, really, I'll send them a video. I'll send them a DVD.
All right, well, yeah, please, because yeah,
Actually, since you mention it, it's been so long. I should just post it on YouTube. I really, why
get
not?
it up there so people can watch it. So people can. If it's not in festivals now, it's not in movie theaters now. It's just lying in your, on your hard drive. So
See that? See that? Already good things have come out of this podcast.
yeah. Now you can also charge a fee. Now I'm Jewish, so I'm thinking, hey, just send me $1 on my Zelle. Then, I'll give you the special director's cut, which is 6.5 hours long before I actually trim things down. There's no music, but you can hear me breathing in the background while I'm editing. This, $1.50. Send them. Just a thought. Just a thought. So, but let me ask you. You said since 13, you have been a theater guy. Was that when you went to that theater camp and it kind of
It,
exploded?
it, it wasn't a camp. It was actually a professional theater, a professional summer theater in Mayapack that my acting teacher at that time and her family, who were all highly professional people, had set up, and it was in an old barn theater. And there was a season of 5 amazing plays, and some of her students were apprentices. So we ran the concession stand and we cleaned the seats and ran props or whatever. And there was not a little, it was actually a large children's theater company that we acted in during, the daytime. And I almost got into one of the adult shows, but it didn't happen. But
I almost got into an adult show one time too, but then my wife saw me going in and said, "You're not safe. They're doing things to each other that I won't even do to you." No, and she.
I think they must have torn that neighborhood down before you got a chance.
I know,
Anyway,
it's unfortunate. It's sad, isn't it?
I'm sorry. Maybe in the next slide. But anyway, so it was a revelation to be part of that experience, and I helped the leads learn their lines. To me, that was the greatest privilege in the world, and I was hooked at that point. I was just hooked.
Were there any famous people that summer, like anybody that you helped learn lines who turned out to, or wasn't famous then but became?
Well, there was one celebrity who came up to act in the play by Gene Kerr, Mary Mary, and he wasn't he's nobody you've heard of, but he was famous at the time. He was a star in a daytime a soap opera. His name was Ernest Graves, and he came up in a limousine to Mayapack, and a wonderful man, very very sweet, kind man. It turned out. That was part of the magic of it all.
So there
And
you are. You're 13 still. A bar mitzvah boy. You had this experience, and now you have to go back to regular junior high school and high school and stuff. So what did you do in those years that took you further down the entertainment and theater trajectory, if you will?
well, I basically everything through. I'm going to name her. Her name is Miranda McDermott. She was my acting teacher. She's still alive, and we're still good friends, and which is in itself Hanes and wonderful.
Oh, Agnes Gadol, that's right, yes.
Baruch Hashem. Anyway, so she and her husband Franklin Engel, who I'll also mention, made many occasions that I participated in thereafter. For example, they did a season of plays in the summer at the Provincetown Playhouse, which now barely exists, I believe. But at that time, it was the great historical theater in the West Village, where Eugene O'Neill had done his shows, and we did a season of plays there. There was another theater. See, all the theaters I worked in don't exist anymore. The Mercer Art Center. I don't know if you remember that. It was on Mercer Street near NYU, and it was a huge new art center with many theaters in it. It was a multiplex live theater place in the early 70s. And and we did plays there. We were at the first, I'm going to forget the name of the theater, Manhattan Theater Club,
Oh,
the very, very early Manhattan Theater Club. We
yeah.
did a show there. So I was at, prestigious theaters. The Mercer Arts Center, by the way, fell down, literally collapsed one day. That's why it isn't there.
Oops. Oops.
A New York story, bad
No,
engine.
because the host of this program, the producer, Dave Lefkowitz, he's an NYU alum from the 1980s. And he knew Mercer Street, but the Mercer Arts Center did not seem familiar to him at all. Provincetown Playhouse, for sure, absolutely. And that area, and the Bunion Theater up on 17th and other places. But Mercer Arts, no. So that's why he's kind of like, eh.
Well, many prestigious things happened there, and I mean, just one thing I know that Richard Foreman did a show there because he was there simultaneously to us.
Let's stop right there. Richard Foreman, I'm sure he's a very nice guy, certainly a Jewish guy with a lot of Jewish totemic things. Cannot stand his work. You, however, you go avant-garde-ish sometimes. Were you tremendously influenced by him?
I'm inspired by him. Let's put it that way. I mean, I feel very differently about him. I can't kiss the hem of his garment. I'm so far beneath his extraordinary originality. It's theater I admire and love, but I somehow don't ever get that abstract.
But yeah, I mean, I'm sitting there, and basically, as you're falling asleep, he has a loud noise that wakes you up. Thank you, Richard. Thank you. I'm already deaf in this here. I need somebody hanging a drum, every 10 minutes to make sure I'm not falling asleep. Fuck you.
Well, I actually take that particular principle to heart. I mean, who invented that was Beckett. He said you have to have some kind of loud noise halfway through it because his plays are very, sleep inducing as well, and he insists on having loud noises 2/3 of the way through.
So wait, what the hell happens? Oh, the guy when Lucky comes back banging the drum. What is that? What he does?
Probably. He starts yelling, or I don't know, but I guess if you look carefully, the door closes, or a tree falls, or something happens that
Right,
wakes
well,
people.
yeah. Well, no, even if I don't know if you probably did. You probably read that book by Jack Viertel about musicals, and he's saying that you need noise, and you need like a noisy opening number for the second act, just to kind of wait for you. You need a big like in Oklahoma, the big dancer in the middle of the first act, somewhere about the 50, 60-minute mark, because people are kind of starting to drift, and then it's like, and then get them towards intermission. I mean, the noise I get, but distracting noise when nothing's making any goddamn sense. This is my life. I don't need this in the theater. You know what I'm saying?
No, you're absolutely right. If it's noise, I mean that's where I part company from Richard Foreman. I do it in my play with various household objects, such as blenders or vacuum cleaners, but it's somehow connected to the circumstance of the play, and that's how I come short of Richard Foreman.
Let me ask you another quick question, because you mentioned in your current, or the play that will start on May 9th, called Bring Them Back, it's going to be most of the cast, the characters are on video screens, but you're not calling this show a hybrid, as opposed to the one called Existence that you did that you say was hybrid. What's the difference?
It is hybrid. It's or mixed media, or whatever term you want to use. It's about half of it actually is on film. And when I timed it. Half of it is the video characters talking to the live characters, and half of it is the live characters talking to each other.
Now, let me ask you, speaking of live characters, is that an actual, it hasn't moved, is that a bird above your head or just a bird cage above your head? What the hell is that?
That is, I focused my camera this way so you would ask about it. It's a bird cage given to me by my friend. I think it must be Chinese, but it was given to me by my friend Mektil Kaliski in Paris. And then inside is unfortunately not a live bird. It's a ceramic, beautiful ceramic multicolored bird. And
Are you doing this just to fuck with your cat? Does the cat wake up in the morning and say, "Oh, breakfast," and then he gets up there and he puts his teeth on something, breaks his teeth because it's ceramic?
Unfortunately, the cats aren't fooled, and there's even effigies of cats around here, and they don't buy it either. They.
Right. I was just curious about it. And yes, the framing, it is an odd framing for someone who does film and theater. I'm like, why is that? But you wanted that thing in there. I got it. I get it now. This is interesting. Also,
Decoration.
is so now you're going to college. You're going to college for entertainment, and you knew a 1 in a million shot of becoming not even just a well-known or famous actor, but a paid, steadily working, health benefits person in the entertainment industry. How did you go from, being a college graduate to where you are now?
Well, I'm a child of the '60s, so honestly, I never thought about money, and I never thought about. I just wanted to do it. I just loved doing it. If I wasn't paid to do it, I would just keep doing it. That was how I felt.
Don't tell that to anybody. Never ever say that to any producer.
They'll take you at your word.
Yeah, they know you.
I learned that lesson. But anyway, what happened was I was doing those shows I told you about. I went to college. I was in every show there was in college. Then I went out and tried to be an actor. And the story is that I had one connection, which was friends of my family's nephew was a theatrical agent. And after a lot of begging, not on my part, but the older people, he sent me to one casting agent who called me for an audition. And it was to play Joanne Woodward's son in a movie. And I can't remember the name of the movie. It was made. And I walked into the antechamber of this casting agent's office, and there were 30 young men who looked just like me, sitting there waiting for their interview. The call had gone out, the description of and everything, and I said to myself, do I think I'm the most talented person here? Do I even think I'm the fifth most talented? I loved acting, but I sensed that I wasn't such a good actor, and it was because I got so I loved rehearsals, but I got frozen during performances. I just stopped being very loose on stage, and and I was very young too, but I decided that's not for me. I'll spare the audiences, and I'd already in college started directing, so that's how I made that transition. Oh, here's somebody else.
Oh, who's this? Hello, Shalom. Oh, that's a different cat.
That's a different cat.
Thank you for showing us its butthole. That was really a pleasant thing to see it for a breakfast.
Every part of her is delectable. I promise you. Every part is very, very appealing.
Not the tush hole. Even every other part. The tush hole, maybe not so much of pretty much any animal.
Anyway,
so
yeah.
So you directed, but even there, it's not as if. Have you been able to make a steady living as a director? No.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Not at all. But again, it was, I was blessed with having full-time employment as a teacher, which is, I'm going to say it right here. I shouldn't say this when I'm trying to get people to come to my show. It's the thing I'm best at.
Oh, well, you must get the wonderful reviews and things, and your evals, your teacher evals, and your student evals at the end of the semester, and they're just
I thought you said e-bowels.
I was thinking of the cat. No, evaluations. The student eval. You know the terminology, the lingo, if you will. So what kind of do you teach? Theater history? Do you teach obviously acting, directing? What do you physically?
Well, the truth is, I actually retired 2 years ago, but
I'm sorry. All
right. But for all that time, for 50 years, I taught a variety of things. I was so blessed that I could teach mostly what I wanted in any given semester. I would never teach technical theater or body movement, so they were spared ignorance. But I taught speech for the stage. I taught all kinds of acting, acting the classics, all kinds of acting, theater history, yes, theater history and literature. So I love doing a variety of things, and I could in that program.
You
And
seem pretty spry, though. Why did you retire?
um, well, to be honest, things have changed since COVID. I mean, it thing things went a little south, and maybe they're starting to recover. Maybe things are coming. I don't know, but it really felt not the same hospitable place that it's felt for the last 40 years. And I think a lot of teachers
University's
are
not
having.
hospitable right now. I wonder. Had nothing to do with fucking COVID, man. There's something else going on right now. But so, but wait, did you teach? I'm wondering, did during the COVID year, did you flip to online? How did you teach all that stuff online?
Well, what happened was a week before COVID hit, we got a notice that this thing might be coming and that some of our courses might have to go online. And we had a department meeting, and I made a motion as a full-time member of the department. This department will never ever do a course online because it's theater. And it passed unanimously. And the week after, I was on Zoom like everybody else.
Right. Yeah, of course. Yeah, I'm sorry, but yes, we everything had a pivot. Yeah, of course.
Well, but who could have imagined such a thing would really happen and happen in such a, complete and disastrous and catastrophic way. But anyway, we made the most of it, and it was one of the great adventures, creative adventures of my life, truly, to teach a directing one class online, directing two actually. Part of that class was to do a festival of one act plays. We've always done it. That was my innovation.
But how
And
if they can't get in a room together? What the hell did you do?
that was one of the wonderful, fabulous things we figured out how to do. So if you can imagine a naturalistic play where they're both in the same room. So one was in a real room, the other sent a photo of the other side of their room to the other one who used it as a background, and we would do things like this. Here, would you take this?
I'll take your cup. Yeah, I used to watch Zoom theater during that year and a half break, if you will. I mean, I used to see actors doing
Come
this.
on, come on, come on. We can even hug right now. Come on.
Oh, gotta use a little deodorant there, fella.
It's early in the morning. What do you want?
Or I can understand teaching improv online is like yes and then they go yes and but I'm wondering so you as they did pivot but couldn't you? I also wondered how they teach music because everybody's on a different like 2 second delay thing. I never
My music colleagues were in terrible frustration and
yeah.
body movement. Can you imagine dance? And well, I mean, I have had dance classes online. I take dance classes. So it's all possible in a way, and it's all a little worse. But I mean, this is the thing about theater. Theater is you make the most of whatever you're given. You walk into the theater, the roof fell down, you still do a rehearsal. It doesn't, so that's in my genes, and we just made it work and it was exciting. And I look back on it as a thrilling, creative time. I fear that the students didn't get a good shake, even so. And I think maybe my
Nobody's
classes.
fault. I mean, it was God. He sent a virus down. For a year and a half, everybody got messed up. It happens, deal.
But I mean, I imagine that I mean, I would observe other classes, other people's classes, and see the cameras were off. You
Oh.
could, they allowed, and the university said you cannot make a student turn their camera on. You know, how is that education? I mean, these things just, drove me crazy, crazy.
And especially, and it's the one thing. I mean, I know my friend Dave, who really does this program here. He's nuts with people who are taking, shall we say, creative classes with him at a couple of these universities.
And what does he teach? What does he teach?
Physics. He's not teaching chemistry. One of these is a film class, and it was like a history film class, and it's like people are Zoom, on their phones and watching movie. Do you know what it was like to be able when you were in high school and the teacher put on a movie and you didn't have to listen to the lecture for half an hour? It was the most glorious, golden thing. It's like, oh wow, it's a movie, right? Now it's like, movie. This is more interesting. It boggles my mind down bowels. It just does.
Well, I think that what happened was students unlearned how to be a student, and now what's happening is the high school students and junior high school students and a whole generation who had done the same unlearning are moving into the college. And I thought, how long is it going to be until this absolutely works itself through? And because once we went back, you really couldn't have the same expectations. You would because during COVID, another thing that happened, I mean, totally understandably, we had to go very gently with the students. You know, we were all living through trauma.
Oh, yeah.
Their family was getting sick and dying. Everybody was going insane due to the isol. I mean, all sorts of horrible things were going on.
I'm sorry. Yes and no. I mean, I was insane long before COVID.
Me too. Me too.
Yeah, there you go. So to blame everything on COVID. No, I was nuts. Coming out of the womb, for God's sakes. And my mama, God bless her, but she tried to stuff me back in for more. Just, you know. Let's get off that topic. Let's move back to other creative,
Right.
happy thoughts. So by the age of 13-ish, you were doing the professional theater in the summer. But what was the first live theatrical experience that you remember seeing as a child that made a mark on you? Maybe you were 10 or 8 or whatever.
Well, I think, I mean, I saw great things like the original production of Fiddler on the Roof and stuff. I was that generation, but what really made a mark was productions by the APA Phoenix Theater Company. I don't know if you remember them. That was a truly great American repertory company in New York, which never got enough credit, in productions directed by one Ellis Rabb. This is the true tragedy of theater, is that people like that are totally forgotten today. It was a huge company, and they would do great plays like You Can't Take It With You. They did an adaptation of War and Peace. I think that was really what did it for me. And with like Rosemary Harris, I mean, and every single actor was a distinguished actor, truly fine actor, and every aspect of it was so artistically handled and beautiful, and that's what really convinced me. But another one was there was a certain Eugenie Leontovich. She was some transplant from Russia, and she did an adaptation of Anna Karenina called Anna K off Broadway with, I believe, 6 actors. I went back 3 times to see it, and it was like there was no set, there was nothing on stage except these 6 actors. Amazing, amazing work. And a lot of these things made.
At the very end, it was a little silly when 4 of the actors put their hands on each other's shoulders and went woo woo chugga 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 and ran over the 5th.
You saw it. Well, she made it work through magic, and that was the thing. It wasn't. It really was literally something like that. But it had everybody crying. Another one was In White America, by Martin Duberman, with 4 actors. It was all about the racial inequality in America, and the great Gloria Foster did a monologue not based on, but in the words of the first girl, black girl who attended the University of Mississippi in her first day. You could have wiped me up off the floor. I couldn't. I was walking out of the theater still crying, and things like that, were absolutely persuasive.
Can I ask you, what was the first show that you went to see with your wife Peggy, who's standing there with some kind of beverage or something? You don't remember?
What was the first show we saw together? I don't think we're going to remember.
Well, I came to a show with Carol.
No, but we went to see it together. I mean, we actually saw each other, or I saw her in a theater. It was some enchanted evening. We were in the audience at City College, and that's how it began. But I think it was a really bad play by one of my colleagues.
We don't. We don't have to name.
No, I think they're actually in the play as one of the enemies who died and comes back in the video.
Oh wait, oh, I had another question in my. What does Peggy do, by the way? What is she?
He's a mathematician.
You're kidding. So she does the taxes, you do the housework. It works. It's perfect. It's amazing. Is she still teaching? I mean,
she retired 6 months before me, but
also at CCNY, right? Because you were both.
No, at BMCC, same system, different college.
So, oh my God, well, Mazel. How long have you been married, if you don't mind my asking?
28 years, something like that.
26 years.
26 years.
See, the mathematician would know the exact number. That's how this works.
She can add 2 plus 26.
Now, can I ask you? You mentioned in an interview somewhere that when you start writing a play or thinking about writing a play, you immerse yourself in a particular genre. You read a lot of the classics of that era. Is that generally true of how you work, your mode?
Well, I immerse myself in something, and it depends upon what it is. When I did the Isaac Bashevis Singer one, because that was based on his great epic novel, The Manor. So absolutely, I did all the research possible about Poland, for Jews at that time, for everybody at that time, and the history of it, and the everything cultural. At the time. But this play now isn't historical. It's really, it's, turning my guts out onto the stage, basically. And so the research is, but who would I immersed myself in the characters, especially the character that is not me, who is Trudy, who is based on a family friend, and so I knew her so well that I can write in her voice. And it's really uncanny because she's like a person, as she says in the play, she says, I shouldn't be on stage. I shouldn't be a character or an actor. I'm not interesting enough, she says. And as she says, I'm not interesting enough, she's so interesting.
I love it. Let me ask you though, that the show that you're doing, Bring Them Back, is going to be at Theater for the New City from May 9th to May 19th, and Theater for the New City is over on First Avenue, 155 First Avenue. So what is it, like 10th Street?
It's between 9th and 10th Street on the east side of the avenue. It's a multiplex theater complex. It's an incredible institution of New York that doesn't get its due. It's always 4 plays running there at any given time.
Oh, I like 4 plays. Oh, 4 plays. Sorry.
Well, in the other theaters, there's the 4 play. Our play is the play.
But you must have a relationship, not like your Peggy relationship with Crystal Field, because you've had a lot of plays there. Do you feel like you have a home there? Did you establish that? Like, if I have a play, I might probably get it done at TNC.
Well, the thing is that not only do I have a relationship, I honor Crystal Field as one of the great innovators of the theater and one of the great visionaries of the theater, who really sees theater as part of the community in which it is, which is Greater New York, but specifically the East Village, but who really has a social conscience, and who, everything that started, recently with diversity and everything, she was doing 30 years ahead. And she has all these ancillary things like street theater for the masses, and a Lower East Side Festival for the Arts, which is coming up, and all these things. But she's an amazing, strong person who will not stop maintaining that theater and its vision and its practical side. She's Mother Courage, really incarnate. And one of the great things she does, as opposed to almost every other artistic director and producer in New York, is she keeps her hands off. If she selects an artist, and I started there, a long time ago, and I was working in many different theaters, but she said, okay, this is the play you want to do. I love this play. I respect you. Do it. And then it doesn't really matter what I say I want to do, because it's me, and we have that relationship. I can do it, and she's not going to be sitting there saying, cut, those 5 pages, or what you really need is a third character, or anything, she'll just sit there, and if she doesn't like something about it, she'll tell you. But that doesn't stop her from, yeah.
This does pivot to another question, especially when were working in the student situation. Did you ever use dramaturgs, because you're a writer and a director? Did you ever need them for historical shows, or are dramaturgs just the kind of people who come in and this doesn't work and cut these 5 pages?
Absolutely, absolutely, I do. I actually gave this play to 3 different dramaturgs, and they said, "I don't know what to tell you. You just keep writing. Just keep writing. This is, I, I'm sorry, to put it like this, but I'm usually unconfident 2 weeks out from a show. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Can I really invite people to see this? For this show, from the very beginning, I felt I love it. I just love it. It's just a wonderful show. What can I say? And the dramaturgs really were kind of speechless and said, just keep writing, just go further, just take it to the limit. And but I usually will bring somebody in because I don't trust my own, you're too close to it. And what does it need? And I know it's 3 times too long or whatever. And so tell me what to cut, or whatever. What needs developing. Absolutely, I use dramaturgs, but in this particular case, they had very little to do.
And let me ask, do you read reviews, or only after the show's over, or you never?
Oh, I say I will not read them, and then, well, here's what I do. If I ask somebody else to vet them, and I say, "Is this a good review?" Well, it's mixed. I said, "Okay, I'll read it." If it's no, 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 don't read it. I won't read it. I don't want to know.
Do you want to know, like, after opening night, or 3 weeks later after the showcase is over? And
Well, if they tell me it's a good review, then I'll read it immediately, just to give myself a little more oomph and steam. But if they say no, 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 this is a pan, then no, I won't do it.
I think that the thing is, it's hard to find reviews now of off Broadway shows.
That's the problem. I mean, I told you about how I felt, and you said too. For you, education changed, but the theater. I used to regularly get reviewed in the Times, with the Village Voice when it was the Village Voice, everything. And then in the old days, there were other wonderful smaller papers, that regularly sent out reviewers. Today, it's
But even the website, I remember there used to be Uber, and there used to be all these, and now it's kind of hard to, OBR, or not Uber, the driving thing. But now you can't even, if you wanted to find a review, good or bad, of some of the things that are opening that aren't at least at a certain 150 seat level, good luck. It's really kind of like, which helps the playwright, because then all you see are the press releases online, and there's no bad reviews, but there's no anything.
Well, I want to write a book about how off Broadway got destroyed, and I think for me, it's an existential question. I wrote that play, Existence. This is part of the existence question. Do I conform? Because basically the whole infrastructure of off Broadway has gone up in smoke. I mean, the real estate, the reviews, especially, the whole idea of critics that, who regularly come and support it and cultivate it. And so under those circumstances, do you keep going? And so with each show, it's that kind of question. Do I? And every time, if I've got an idea for a show, I've decided I can't keep this inside. I've got to develop it. I've got to see it through. Reviews, no reviews, doing it in a closet, whatever, move ahead. And so, but I do wonder, how the world became this way in New York, of all places, because in pretty much any other place in America, that wouldn't happen. I mean, there'd be a sense of, hey, San Francisco has a theater, let's all get interested in it. Let's support it. Let's, small, large, whatever. It's San Francisco, and so it's bizarre.
Well, Chicago has some of that, but
yeah.
But a lot of places never had an off Broadway to begin with, so you can't really make the, if New York had 70 off theaters all over the place, not all of them are going to survive. Not all of them are going to be good. You can understand how it's going to get winnowed down. But now even the known ones are kind
Are
of
having trouble. And I do think a lot aren't, do you hear that? A lot are shutting down. I mean, it's a winnowing's, it's happening. But in the old days when I started, there were like 400 off-Broadway theaters, running at any time. Sure.
oh my God.
Lots and lots and lots. They're the ones you read about. There's 3 or 4 that get into the history books, but there were so many when I was like a young actor starting out. I mean, it was like they're in storefronts everywhere they were, and it was a healthy thing. And it was, New York in the '70s was sort of dying, but culturally it's never been so alive. And
now Disney owns everything, and everything's dying. So, but what's not dying, at least for 2.5 for 2 or 3 weeks, at Theater for the New City, which is still well alive, and so is the woman who runs it, Crystal Field, and so is our guest in the neighborhood, David Willinger, because his play is alive and well, even though it's about dead people. It's Bring Them Back, running May 9th through May 19th at Theater for the New City over on 155 First Avenue between 9th and 10th Streets in New York. For tickets, you can call 212-254-1109. Yeah, 254-1109. They're citing tnc.org or whatever the hell their website is to get things there, or Ovation.
.net.
Oh, tnc.net.
No, theater for the new city.net.
Theater, and how do you spell theater?
E-R.
It's like a whole fucking mess. Theater, E-R. Theater for the new city.net, N-E-T. Get your tickets. Now, I have one last question for the wonderful David Willinger. So here's the question. It's like, you obviously you proved right from the very beginning that you are serious Jewish. You got more serious Jewish, like, in later life, in adult life, rather than
I was born into an atheist family. We never did any. We didn't even have seders. We did nothing. I didn't go to Hebrew school. Nothing. I wasn't bar mitzvahed, zero. But I've always been. I've always had a mystical bent, I must say, and I dabble, let's say, in Buddhism, in something no one knows about, fourth way teachings, in Gurdjieff, and yoga, lots of yoga, and Rudolf Steiner, sort of everything. I've always had a connection with the beyond that I believe is real. And
I believe it is real. That I do. Yeah.
And then 8 years ago, through a series of events, I don't know how much time we have left, I stumbled into a temple that's around the corner from me called Romamu. And
Ramamu? What?
Romemu, Adonai Eloheinu. And after 30 seconds, I knew that was where I belonged.
What was special? What made you have that feeling that we wish we all had?
Well, one of the rabbis at the time, Rabbi Jessica Meyer, she's no longer in Romamu, but she would always speak about the divine presence, and I guess that's Shekhinah. And I walked in, and you could cut it with a knife. The divine presence was so strong with the singing and the commitment. It was like the place was rocking with spirit. And just for me, what was important, among many things, was that there was a male rabbi, a female rabbi, plus a female chazan, and that there were people of color, there were Black people and Hispanic people sitting there, and I mean, you wouldn't believe this, it's not true anymore, but there was actually within the congregation, a Christian congregation. One of the wives of one of the members was a Protestant minister. And so since there were so many mixed marriages, she was ministering to those people. So those members of those couples, and it was my kind of shul.
Yeah, not my kind. I think that push. If you have someone talking about Jesus Christ in the middle of Shachris, I have a bit of a problem.
Well, no one was talking about it, but it was just like people like that were not excluded. They were welcome. They were part of it, and it was and is. I mean, so many things about it I think are highly traditional. I mean, almost the whole service is like 3 hour service on Saturdays. You're keeping me from. I don't know what you're going to do with your soul after this, but but
It's a
it
3 hour service. It's still going on until 1 o'clock,
still
and
going.
then you have the gefilte fish. So you're fine.
But it's it's all in Hebrew, and so
So this is almost conservadox. Is it?
well it's called neo Hasidic, and so to me it was it's the right formula. It's all those things so authentic, so just like has been done for centuries, but with great music and but not going through the motions. No one's going through the motions there. It's all somehow
No,
deeply
I'm sorry.
experienced.
If the service is 3 hours long, at some point, everybody's going through the motions. At some point, by the fifth time you do the Amida, it is like, all right, let's just get through this.
Well, I mean, this is, I mean, I came to it so late to Judaism that I personally am making up for lost time at every service, and frankly, so to me, it's a powerful emotional experience to have this gift at at this end of my life, and and uh, because I mean, before that, I thought nothing spiritual could ever possibly happen in a synagogue. I hope I'm not offending anybody.
My
But
children, we passed the collection plate around 4 times during the service just so it can keep the lights on. Nothing spiritual about that. I'm just trying to make a living, goddammit. But
listen, light is important.
it absolutely is. It's
Or Hadash, or Hadash.
well, you have brought light and spirit and joy to us this Shabbos morning here in the Daverhood on Dave's Gone By. I want to thank so much David Willinger and remind people one more time, not just to join him at Temple Rome Mu and learn about Easter there, perhaps, or don't even fucking know what they're doing in that shul, but more importantly, go see Bring Them Back at Theater for the New City. It starts still a week or so away. It starts on May 9th, but it runs to May 19th at TNC over on First Avenue. Get your tickets, 254-1109, area code 212, or theater for the new city.net. That's where you say shalom to Peggy for me. She's walking back and forth behind you there. And bless you and best of luck with the show and every new show you do after that. Please keep in touch and please come back with us any Shabbos. We love you.
Bless you, Rabbi. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Shalom to you.
Shalom. Wonderful experience with you.
Oh, David Willinger, my friends. Wasn't that what a fun, what a lovely man, what a nice man, what a talented and creative and intelligent man. I'm actually looking at the mirror image of myself and talking to myself, but him too. So, my friends, and I have more for you on this Passover Shabbos morning, because yes, we've just had that lovely interview about Bring Them Back, but speaking of Bring Them Back in the other context nowadays, I'm coming back later in this program to do a rabbinical reflection, my friends. I did one about Passover last week. I've got another one, because Passover is endless. I've got another one coming up later in the show, and I'm going to have a prayer that you can send up to Hashem for this Pesach holiday. So don't go away. Dave has more show. I have more show on this Shabbos, April 27th, 2024. Until then, let me play a little bit of music. And now I'm filled with the Spirit. Now I am imbued with joy. Let's play some klezmer. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it is 11 o'clock in the morning Eastern Time here in the Daverhood, and you are watching the 941st episode of the Dave's Gone By Show with me, Dave Lefkowitz, my wonderful wife, Joyce, and I want to remind you, if you want to find out more about the program and also see older episodes of the show, you can, because they're all there at davesgoneby.com. Dave, like my name, D-A-V-E-S, goneby.com. Because every show that we've ever done, really, just literally, there's a couple that got lost from technical difficulties, but from the first through the 940th are there. The first few years, several years, were
Did you use
audio
the word of
only.
the day?
Not yet. We haven't. No. I was just in the interview with Rabbi Sal.
Okay. No, I heard the
Well,
yelling.
oh yeah, that's
I
Rabbi Sal.
watched it. It looked really good.
No, it was a wonderful interview. But go to davesgoneby.com because you can watch the video episodes we've done for the past 6 years, and you can listen to the audio, the radio shows that we did for 15 or 16 years. They're all there for free, davesgoneby.com. We also put our archives up at archive.org. We have a channel there, the Dave's Gone By channel on archive.org. Plus, if you just want the audio, if you're out and about and you want to hear it as a podcast, one of the great ways to do that is find our shows on castbox.fm. Castbox.fm. We also have a YouTube channel, and of course we have this Facebook page. So lots of places to find a lot of the same content,
Yeah.
but you absolutely should. It's davesgoneby.com is really the first place to begin. And it's delightful to have you here on this Saturday morning. I don't know what day it is of Passover, probably the 5th or something like that. And it's lovely to be here with you, and we have more show to do. As Rabbi Sal intimated before, I don't think that's the word, but he'll be back with his rabbinical reflection, his mini sermon, with a Passover prayer for everyone. Plus, we have our Colorado Limerick of the Damned, where we're going to Ackmen, Colorado. Plus, Bunion Watch. I still haven't shown my bunions yet, babe. But maybe now we got to get to Greeley times.
Yeah.
We have to go to Greeley. Oh, and I have Dave's Big
Do you
Dick
want to put your
sharing.
drink here, babe? Here.
Yeah, let me put
I can't go further. I'm sorry.
I need my little beverage here. Oh, God. Rabbi Sal had his lips on the straw here. I mean, I taste herring. So it's
People like it. My grandfather ate it every New Year's. People like herring.
yeah, but with tea. Anywho, Greeley Times comes from an article that appeared, oh my God, the phone is ringing already, and that appears in the Greeley Tribune newspaper based on actual phone calls that come into the police department. Let it ring, because we got to play the theme music, and I'll go with it. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Greeley Times. So I've got my chicken earbud on.
He's so cute.
Any cool little thing? And he works. Oh, they hung up.
Wait a second. Oh, here we go.
Oh, good, they're calling back, I hope. Yeah, okay, I've got the chicken tuned in to phone calls that came into the police department. Hello. Aha. Where are you? Okay, a caller at an unknown address.
Oh, it's never good.
I'm gonna get my
That's
glasses
never
on.
good,
I know.
David, it's never good when you don't give the address. It's never good.
Yeah, well, it's a sad story. He told his wife of 33 years
Oh no.
that he was filing for divorce.
Uh-oh.
So,
D-I-V-O-R-C. Remember that song?
no, oh, that's part. No, it was
That's
Tammy
Tammy
Wynette.
Wynette,
Tammy
yeah.
Wynette. That's right. Well, what do you think she did in response?
I'm afraid to find out.
No, it's not. That's not.
Did she throw a loud party and not invite him, and he's got locked out or something?
Oh no.
What'd she do?
No, she did actually what the smartest thing to do. She took all their money out of their bank accounts in the safe and left them just $15.
Well, that's nice. $15.
Yeah, well, yeah, she gave him enough for a sandwich, you know.
Oh, wow. Or a drink at Starbucks, yeah.
Yeah, right. Well, actually, you can get a really big drink. As much as Starbucks is
And
ridiculous.
he could use the bathroom to bathe and clean himself, and he could get free Wi-Fi. He could live there for at least 2-3 days.
You know, that's right.
Or he could mail himself in a box to
For 6 days. Yeah, right. If he can survive 6, if a cat can survive 6 days without anything,
Mhm.
I guess a human could probably go about 2 weeks. You'd be in terrible straits, but you probably could. Anyway, I somehow sense there's another call coming in. Hello. Go figure. We were talking about students and schools and high school and things. A student from an unknown high school. Nobody's giving identifiers anymore.
The names anymore.
Yeah. Especially since it's very particular here. She said her English teacher was not letting the class give opinions on specific things and kept yelling about there being only 2 genders.
Wouldn't you call the principal? Why are they calling the police?
I don't know. Because kids don't even know they're such snowflakes. It's like, he's offended me. This is like gender-phobic.
You call the police. You don't call every. I don't understand. Maybe the police are advertising their number very freely.
Well, I just think it's amazing that you can still find a teacher who isn't emasculated or woke. What's the world coming to? Anyway, let me get this. Oh, this is a call from 9th Street. They're requesting information on the laws for parking and handicap spots.
I think that's pretty clear.
I said, does hangnail count?
I mean, David, that's pretty clear. You need to have a handicapped sticker.
Well, no, define. Well, no. In other words,
diagnosis. You need a sticker. You got to go through the county and get a sticker that says you're handicapped.
Well, maybe they were asking what the county would call. Like if you're, let's say, you're schizophrenic.
The police don't know that. You got to go through that's not the right place.
Well, who do you call the DMV?
You would call the Department of Health. And
really?
ask them,
I mean, it wouldn't currently called Department of Health.
Why would you call the police? What do they know?
Well, not the police.
You in the knee and make you handicapped?
Well, because it's a legal thing.
No.
If you park in a handicap and you're not handicapped, you don't have the sticker, you get a ticket. So it is legal.
As you should.
Yeah. Again, a caller at
undisclosed location.
Unknown location. It's unknown.
Maybe a parallel universe booking.
Well, what's the line from Shatner? It's unexplained. Yeah. A caller in unexplained location said a worker for a property management company came into the house the caller was renting while he was in the shower.
Oh, no.
The worker took the towel the caller was going to use,
What?
forcing him to walk into the living room naked.
Why would you do that?
I don't know.
What kind of shenanigans is that?
But that's when the music started. Bow, ka-chicka, bow,
You
bow.
don't take somebody's towel when they're in a shower. That's low. That's low, man.
Yeah, wow.
Why would you do that to somebody?
I don't know, but that's why he's calling the cop. But would you call it?
Wouldn't you think the maintenance person at a place would give you a towel? Like they would try to help you.
Exactly.
Oh, there's something
going on there.
Yeah.
Or maybe they just hand him one of those traffic cones. It's like, here. I don't even.
Maybe they're trying to get rid of him, and they figure
Well,
he doesn't have a towel, but yeah.
They're just trying to make his life a little miserable for a moment.
Yeah, that's weird.
Oh. Well, speaking of not having a towel and not being able to cover yourself, a caller on 8th Avenue, not 8th and 8th, but 8th Avenue, said that a man pulled his pants down.
Oh, God.
Excuse me, and was rolling around in the grass near the street.
Oh.
Yeah, some hemorrhoids are worse than others.
I don't know why you would do that. That would be, maybe he's a bear and he was trying to clean himself. He didn't have Charmin.
There you go. Maybe he put hot sauce on his balls and he realized that was not a good idea. Kind of a college thing is like, yeah, just some jalapeno. What's that stuff? The sriracha sauce. Yeah, no, it's fine. But you actually put it right in the hole on your dick. And he thought it would be a good idea. And now he's rolling on the grass. Oh, boy, the phones are busy today. All right, I got it. Oh, no, I don't got it. Hold on, I lost my earpiece. Can they call back? Oh, let me try the other ear. Keep going. Don't hang up. Hello? Hello? I forgot I'm deaf in this ear. Okay, hold on. Call back. You married me. All right. Yeah, all right. I got it. A caller at a gas station on 8th Avenue, back to 8th Avenue again, reported a man building a fire next to the building.
Oh, Lord.
The caller said the man had set himself on fire a couple of times.
What?
But he'd been able to put it out.
What? What the heck's going on?
The good news is that he made the cover of Pink Floyd's "Wish You Were Here." So,
Wow.
what? Yeah, I think if I set myself on fire once, I'd have somebody else try again.
Or you would probably get some care that you need to prevent you from setting
You know,
yourself
fire.
on fire. Like,
Yeah.
it's not good to set yourself on fire. That's not something you should do.
Oh. A caller on 28th Street, and this by the way happened at 2:00 in the morning. So FYI, said a neighbor was walking around with a hammer
Yeah.
and no shirt. He had been outside for several hours at that point. Yeah, just a hammer. 2 in the morning, no shirt.
But he wasn't doing anything with
Yeah.
it.
Well, maybe it was Jesus looking for a way to nail himself. It's like, I don't know.
what. It's weird.
Yeah, a lot of these, that's the point. These are real calls that came into the Greeley Police Department. Oh, here's another one. A caller on 13th Avenue, so 5 blocks up from 8th, said he was walking his dog when a St. Bernard jumped through the window of a house,
What?
shattering the glass,
What?
and ran off. St. Bernard?
They could do it. They're
They're
big.
big.
No, they're big.
But
And they're boxy. They're boxy. They could do it.
I was wondering if he's carrying the topless guy's hammer.
No, he escaped. Maybe he escaped.
But to go through a window, man.
Yeah. He wanted to get out.
Wow, he did. And
He must
now,
well, he must have seen the neighbor's dog or the other dog and wanted to get it or get something. He was going for something. Maybe.
squirrel,
Yeah, maybe.
squirrel.
Yeah, maybe.
okay.
Or something.
Now this is, guess what? Guess what? Ladies and gentlemen,
Wait,
my
I'm
friends.
here.
Oh, yeah. We have an alert.
What happened to your glasses? Oh my God.
They're cockeyed.
Aw.
Dang it. All right,
Okay.
so we have, honest to God, a chicken alert. We have a chicken alert, which just means that we have a story about a chicken. That's all. You know what I mean? This was at 5:00 in the afternoon. The caller on First Avenue said a dog came and killed all her chickens. The dog's owner was leaving and refused to tell the caller where she lived. Yipes. Not a happy chicken story,
No.
but it is an alert. I mean, she was alerted to the fact that all her chickens
I
were
would
dead.
have to. Don't tell the chicken pawns. They'll be
No.
sad.
So let's do an elsewhere.
Okay.
So this means that this is not from Colorado. This is just a weird, fun story. And it comes from our old stomping ground, New York. Reported in the New York Post and on Facebook. And this is so me. You might want to tell.
What's the town, David? Tell me. I'm going to look it up for today.
Well, I guess it'd be Queens, New York.
No, the town that.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Ackmen. Ackmen. Ackmen is going to be our Colorado Limerick. But this is true. Because, old Dave loves cheap food. Well, the New York Mets are having some fun with their $1 hot dog night promotion. Not a tropical hot dog night, which is kind of an in-joke for anybody who knows the show, but $1 hot dog night. Earlier this season, and by the way, last week or 2 weeks ago, our Elsewhere story was about another team in another town stopping their $1 dog night and instead of doing 2 for 1 at BOGO or something. No, the
Because
Mets.
They had too much of a line. Remember, they said they had too much of a line.
Yeah. Well, nobody's trying to see the New York Mets these days, so they. Well, actually, they're not doing that badly, but Mets are keeping their $1 hot dog promotion. Earlier this season, and this is just by sheer beautiful coincidence, the team honored a World War II veteran,
Oh no.
and his name,
What?
his real name,
Yeah.
Seymour Wiener.
I love it.
Seymour
Oh,
Wiener,
that's beautiful.
and he was their veteran of the game.
I love it.
Well, the name caught the attention of Mets fans on social media, and now the Mets are getting in on the joke, and they've tweeted, quote, Seymour Wiener wants you to come to Dollar Dog Night.
Oh.
And it ran with an approved graphic of him. He signed off on it. It's okay. With a hot dog photoshopped into his hand. I sure hope that's a hot dog. The dollar hot dog promotion is limited to 4 hot dogs per person. If you're going to eat more, And it happens on Tuesday. So this is going to be happening this coming Tuesday in New York. I keep wanting to say Shea Stadium at Citi Field. Fans love the promo, and they have posted, quote, "The Mets better bring Seymour Wiener back for Dollar Dogs Night."
Oh, you want to see the here?
It was a cool picture of him. Dude is an absolute legend now, unquote. And then somebody else wrote, and this is beautiful, Joey Chestnut and Seymour Wiener going dog for dog at the game. So do you have a picture of him? I should have called that up on my... I should make this more of a PowerPoint presentation show. Make it a little more visual and have these things ready. I wonder, but then I have to share screen and everything. Here it is. There he is. That's him. Oh, it flipped. Here he is. There's literally, his name is Seymour Wiener.
That's so cool.
Which is what his wife did on their honeymoon.
Let me
Everyone loves a wiener.
I love it.
Yeah.
So they give away dollar hot dog? Yeah.
Well, no, they're not giving them away. You have to pay $1 for them. But usually hot dogs in the stadium now are like $7 or something. It's nuts. So for $1, you get a weenie. Yeah, I'm down with that.
This is the one I wanted you to show.
Oh, show me.
Just hold it there.
Hold on. There he is.
That's the one you wanted.
$1 hot dogs. Remember when I went to a thing and they
yes.
$1 kosher hot dogs? And I was so excited, and I had my little hat on and my shorts,
Yes.
and I was in my 30s,
Yes.
and the people who were running the carnival where this was happening thought I was a retarded child.
The man said to me, he grabbed my arm and he said, you could get tickets for him. And I said, no, he wants to buy $1 hot dog. He's excited. He said, I know, but he can get tickets for free on the bus. And I was like, I don't know what bus. I was like, we're not.
The short bus.
Yeah, no, but we're not from like a shul or anything, like a place here. And he was like, no.
But it's absolutely true. I was going so crazy over the idea of $1 kosher hot dogs at this local town fair and carnival. But I looked, I had like boy shorts on. I had this cute little cap,
Yeah.
and I was just
No,
like.
you were jumping up and down. I think it was after your hernia. You had those big boy shorts, like they were too big for you.
So I
And you were
looked like a
jumping up
retard.
and I'm going, dollar hot dog, like that.
And literally the guy thought, okay, he's a special child.
I thought it was nice.
He was right.
And
Yeah.
I think the way that I was holding your hand and telling you to please stop and be normal, I think he felt like, oh, I'm your handler. He was like, oh, you can get tickets for that one. I'm like, I don't know what you mean. He goes, well, didn't you get tickets on the bus? I'm like, what bus? He's like, the bus over there. I'm like, oh.
This is Joyce's proudest moment
Yeah.
as my spouse.
Yeah.
The moment when people mistook me for her retarded child.
They thought something. Even the woman the woman who used to go to the Archie's diner, she thought something was wrong with you mentally.
Really?
She said, "Oh, would you stay with him? It's such a blessing because he's so ill." She thought you were cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
Kind of was.
You always
Well,
wanted
'cause
more
I had the
macaroni
potatoes out.
salad, and you had the potatoes, and you would scream a lot. Yeah.
I probably
And you
would.
wanted more pickles and coleslaw, and you would always.
Wait, which place was
remember,
this?
on your Trader Joe's, the Archies, they'd have the.
Oh,
yes.
wait a minute. No, she didn't.
Yeah, she thought you were. Yeah, she's like, it's really lovely you stay with him, and he's got something wrong with him, right? What's wrong with him? I'm like, nothing. She really thought, she's like.
Is this the Spimonell girl?
No, the one. Remember, they had the pickles. They put out the right next to around the corner from Trader Joe's. It's no longer there. Trader Joe's took it over.
Oh, the other
a
one.
1950s style diner.
Yeah.
And they used to give macaroni salad and salad.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Me want coleslaw. Me want potato. And you'd always harass her to pack it up to take it home with you.
Yeah.
And then you were always like, I want a hamburger. And you would always yell.
I would not yell.
You were but she thought you were cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I should keep doing it just so they give me special treatment, wherever I go. You don't have to pay for your meal, sir.
She was worried. She's like, she's like, what's wrong with him? I'm like, nothing. He's normal. She's like,
well, nothing is not the correct answer either. Oh man.
Is there more bells?
Yeah. One or two more items from northern Colorado and Greeley in Greeley time. So we have a caller on. Oh my God.
What? 8th and 8th? What?
Oh wait, no, I did that one. Okay, a caller at an unknown address. They're doing this more and more now.
Maybe they just don't take it down because they don't care.
Yeah.
Wherever you are, it's okay.
Because police, as soon as they've seen the phone number,
I
they can.
believe I don't know.
Although actually phone numbers would be connected to a cell,
Yeah.
maybe not to
yeah.
an address. But a caller at an unknown address said her baby
Oh.
walked out of the apartment while she was taking a bath.
Wow. Let's see.
There we go.
That's the cat in the
That's
box.
the cat and the baby, yeah. Wow.
That's not good.
No.
It's not a baby if it's walking. It's a toddler.
Toddler,
Yeah,
I know, yeah. And neighbors, thank goodness, saw the baby
Mhm.
and returned it to the mother, who promptly drowned it because
Oh.
postpartum's a bitch. No, but it's like she probably called the cops and said, "Look, I am a responsible mother. The baby just walked out the damn
but
door."
the neighbors, if you're reported, they'll do an investigation.
Sure.
You know, to see if the baby's safe. I mean, that's, you know.
But she called the cops herself.
Like,
So
remember the one
proactive.
time when you left the potato in the cafeteria?
I know.
And Maria had to find it. She said, she saw me and she said, ma'am. I said, yes. She said, remember when you were so distraught that your husband lost his potato in the cafeteria? She said, I found it.
That
And
was one of
I
the
said,
great
Maria,
moments. Yeah.
I was like, Maria, what? Because Julia, our friend said, like, are you just going to find another one and give it to him? I said, he'll know. He'll
Oh,
know.
I'll know. I
He'll
would
know
know.
the difference.
Joyce just knocked over the drumstick.
Like the drum on my foot. So then I said to her, I said, what happened? And what happened? So what happened that they?
Yeah.
What happened? Tell me. Do you remember?
Well, they called or
But where was
contacted.
the potato found? What happened with him? Do you recall that piece?
He was near the ketchup fountain. I
No,
dropped
no,
him and he
they
rolled.
thought he was part of a food display for Healthy Eating Month. So they thought it was part of a display. Like somebody found it, thought it was a display, and then God bless Maria, because I went frantically asking for the potato, and she said, I remember the lady who we used to go in there quite often. She said, I remember the lady said it's her husband's toy potato. So she found it. She
Her
saved
husband's.
it.
Another
And
proud moment.
I had a sign for it.
Did you really?
Yes, that I was receiving the potato.
I was there with you when we got it back, though. I was crying and screaming.
There were like 10 people in line. You're like, out of the way! I need my potato.
And we took a picture with her.
Yes,
Yes, it was
we
a
had the
beautiful
picture
moment.
with Maria, the savior of the potatoes. Yes.
Yeah.
She's their godmother.
My wife puts up with a lot.
And
But
I
it's
used to
worth
pay
it.
for your meals. Remember on my card, it was a meal
Yeah.
card.
Yeah, and I wish we were doing that at the places where we teach now. I
Well,
wish
we could, but I think it's
you
like,
can't eat anything there because it's all
no,
salt.
it's a lot of salt. They have like a couple places that look really good, and they have food truck like Thursdays, but you have to order on an app and then go pick it up.
Well, fine. I'm there on Thursday.
Yeah,
well, at
yeah,
least for the
yeah.
next
Yeah,
week.
yeah, we could,
Two. Yeah. Anyway, let's do one more Greeley time.
Okay.
One last one. A caller on 13th Street.
Oh boy.
So you wouldn't find this really in Maryland, but in Colorado you might. Said a neighbor had a snake under his bed
Oh lordy.
and didn't know how it got there.
I think you know how a snake gets under your bed.
Yeah, it slithered.
I mean, it's probably like, so, you know, we know somebody in the family who's deathly afraid of reptiles, and before they would rent an apartment, when they were renting, they would say, do you allow reptiles? And if they allow snakes, they wouldn't take it, because their fear was exactly this, that one day, somebody, you know, Mr. Whitesnake, Mr. Snaky Baba, gets out of this snake enclosure, and they're looking for heat, because they like warmth. And then he's going to go in your bed or somewhere warm, so I think, like, that could happen. There are all these stories of snakes at the mall where they escape and they close the mall and they find like an anaconda or something like in a steam pipe or, you know.
Well, they would fit. Actually, I love the image.
God,
An anaconda in a steam pipe,
horrible.
which is basically another word for an uncircumcised penis. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been watching Greeley Time. My wife is proud of me again. On Dave's Gone. I didn't change the music yet. Sorry. Let's hear some Groucho.
Mr. Horace Greeley was no fool.
No, he was not.
I'm sure that you'll agree with me that Greeley was no fool.
What he is getting at is that Mr. Greeley was no fool.
Yippee-yi.
Yippee-yi, 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 yi-yi, yippee-yi, yippee-yi, yippee-yi.
All right, it's almost 11:30, here in the Daverhood. We're doing Dave's Gone By, our 941st episode of the program, live on this Saturday, April 27th. Let's do a quick Bunion watch. Then I'm going to give the Rabbi some...
I have to look on can I have your phones for your Facebook? I want to see if they list anything about the yard sale.
Yeah, me too. I want to see if they're still... And so Rabbi Saul will come back after we do Bunion Watch, and then we still have Dave's Big Dictionary, where I'll talk about the word assail for a little bit, and then our Colorado Limerick of the Dam and Friends of the Daverhood. So don't go away. We have chock full. Like the last half hour of the show is just going to be full o' chocks. But first, let's do Bunion Watch.
She's Bunion, she really is a fun one, she's Bunion.
Listen, doctor, to my plea. It's time for bunionectomy.
Bunions, they're a pain in the feet.
Yes, time for Bunion Watch, ladies and gentlemen, here on this Saturday morning on Dave's Gone By. So here's, so I told you this shirt was a little too small for the old tummy here. But let's do some bunioning. This is my right foot bunion live on this. What kind of program is this? Live on this Saturday, April 27th, 2024. Look at that. Look at that sucker. Ain't he beautiful? Let's see. We don't really need to measure it. There's no pain. My bunion's doing just great. Thank you very much. You can see it looks pinkish when I move it like that, but it's more normative if I don't. But notice how red it is actually, even though I don't wear shoes.
Is it a pimple?
No,
It looks like a pimple.
it's my foot. Yeah, and that's an inner bone pimple in my foot. So yeah, that's my right foot bunion. Let's take a look at the left foot bunion, shall we? We shall. Here we go. Left foot smaller, obviously. Not Kilimanjaro, more of like a bit of a molehill there, but still sort of that pinkish hue on my bunion. Again, no pain. Let's see. Let's do the ski jump. Here we go. Whee! In case you missed it, I'll do it in slow motion. Coming to the left, coming to the left, and over we go. Ladies and gentlemen, those are my bunions for this week, April 27, 2024, here on the Dave's Gone By Facebookio, Podcastio, Programmio of the stream. Let's lift this up a little bit. And so, ladies and gentlemen, we still have our Colorado Limerick, Friends of the Daverhood, as well as I'll be talking about the word assail. But before we get to that, you know him, you love him. You saw him about just half an hour ago talking with David Willinger. Rabbi Saul Solomon is back with a rabbinical reflection. He did one last week for the Passover holiday, which it still is because Passover goes for more than a week in the Western world. Excuse me. So he has more to say, as Rabbi Saul always does. And this time he's come up with a prayer. I mean, it's been a very fraught and difficult time for Jewish people. It's amazing to see David Willinger and just how seemingly carefree and spiritually delighted he is at being Jewish, particularly nowadays. Rabbi Saul feels some other things, as he tends to. So let me share my screen if I can. I actually do need my glasses for this. Where's my share screen? Hello? Share screen. Okay, here we are. Let me just lower that down. Let me lower that down. And let's bring in, because this part I admit was pre-recorded earlier in the week. Here comes Rabbi Saul Solomon's 184th Rabbinical Reflection. Kindly enjoy. As I open it up, and it takes time, and I should pre-plan these things. Here it is. Here it is. The one, the only, the Jewish Rabbi Saul Solomon. Shalom, damn it! This is Rabbi Saul Solomon with a rabbinical reflection for these last few days of Passover 2024. Aziz and Pesach, my friends, and I hope you are having a fun holiday with maximal contemplation and minimal constipation. Actually, this year is less likely to afflict us with intestinal binding than gastric reflux, We want to throw up at everything around us. That's why I've written this little prayer that you can append to your Haggadahs this Passover. It's an appeal to God to get off his lazy tuchus and help us, just as he did in Egypt. He doesn't have to show himself as a burning bush. He could set Ilhan Omar's pubic hair on fire. Same thing. Anyway, here is a prayer for late Pesach. Blessed art thou, O Lord, our God, King of the universe. Or queen, he can be gender ridiculous. Blessed be he who sanctifies us with a holiday that deprives us of bread, yet consoles us with joiba ring gels, where we are scourged by horseradish, soothed by charoses, and confused by putting them together, and where we learn morality by letting a child hide the afikomen and then rewarding him for thievery and blackmail. Dear God, in these times of woe, when the land of Israel rages and Jew haters have slithered from their cages, we implore thee to restore righteousness in the world, to vanquish our foes, as you did the Amalekites and the Canaanites and sometimes the Mennonites. O Lord, protect the tiny nation of Eretz Israel and smite our enemies. For example, may Hamas fighters see their tunnels turned into caskets, their caskets turned into dust, and their dust hoovered up by your ugliest cleaning lady. May you lift the Palestinians up, out of Israel and deposit them in a galaxy far, far away. Or at least Kuwait. May Iraq get so fed up with Iran for being only one alphabet letter different that the two blow each other to bits, which will be especially amusing to Jews named Ira. May the United Nations vote to sanction itself out of existence and have to relinquish its New York headquarters to a Judaica superstore. May every Western woman who supports the Arab world actually have to live as a woman in the Arab world. May the marching students of Columbia and New York universities be boiled in acid and then, ironically, fail their chemistry exams. May the idiots posting anti-Zionist misinformation on TikTok be forced to use DOS dial-up just to get Wi-Fi. May the members of Queers for Palestine be bent over and their assholes stuffed with razor wire and AIDS. May every troglodyte who scrawls "Death to Israel" in graffiti on a public edifice be given a 1972 station wagon and forced to circle the building eternally looking for parking. May every Arab who danced a jig on October 7th have their legs hacked off and fed to starving woodchucks, and may those marmots come back while the cripples are sleeping and vomit in their mouths. May every Jew who betrays Israel in favor of Palestine be forced to eat matzah made of ground glass and soaked in rat poison, in thy mercy. And may whoever becomes president of the United States live 4 more years, that's a stretch right there, to see Israel triumph, her children multiply, her enemies divide and die, and her friends figure out a way to make even a bacon cheeseburger kosher for Passover. Ve'imaru, Amen. This has been a rabbinical reflection from Rabbi Sal Solomon, Temple Sons of Bitches, in Great Neck, New York. Yep, that's Rabbi Sal, and the reflections and the opinions expressed by Rabbi Sal Solomon on Days Gone By are not necessarily the opinions of the producer or host, but kind of are. Anyway, it is about 25 to 12 Eastern Time here in the Daverhood On the Dave's Gone By Facebook podcast de programmio of the stream. We still have our friends of the Daverhood to do and our Colorado Limerick of the Damned. But before we get to that, I do want to talk a little bit about the word of the day. So there's a segment that we do on the program, and it's called Dave's Big Dictionary. Has to do with this idea that I had back when the show wasn't even as extemporaneous as it is now, of getting off script and just testing myself, challenging myself to be interesting and amusing about a word thrown at me at random. And then I would just have to kind of, think about it a little bit and come up with something to talk about. So we've been doing that. And then recently, Merriam-Webster has been doing the hard part for us. They come up with a random word every day, and they give a definition of it. So the random-ish word for this particular week is assail. ASSAIL on Dave's Big Dictionary. Extra, tell all about it. It's Dave's Big Dictionary. So the word is assail, and according to the actual Merriam-Webster dictionary, it is. It's funny, they have very short definitions in this particular book, but it's fine. It means, it's a verb, to attack violently, to assail, to attack violently. So I have to think and just kind of drum up in my head, well, what can I say about that word? What does it call up to mind, directly or indirectly? Well, first of all, honestly, the first thing that came to my mind, and this is true, that I'm pretty sure it was high school and junior high school and not elementary school, but it was one of the two. We had a girl named Stacy Assail. And I haven't thought of, with all due respect to her, I haven't thought of her or her name in, 45 years, 40 years. And amazing how something brings something back, because, they call attendance 180 times during the year. It's like Stacy Assail, she would be the first one called usually. So that brings to mind, but obviously it's not what the word means. And it's an odd word for someone to have as a last name, but okay. Assail. And I could joke and say, well, assail is what I hope to get when we go to TJ Maxx and Home Goods, ha ha ha. And assail is what you put on the Sloop Chong B, but no, let's use it in the context that it was meant to be, to attack violently. And yeah, I think we are in a period of time where we feel assailed by everything. I'm trying to think why that is. And it may be social media. It may just be like back in the old days, like if you were reading about the Middle East, if you were reading about inflation, if you were reading about crime or murders, or reading about the immigrants or whatever it is. You open a newspaper and, there'd be a story or two about it, flip the page, continue it on page 17, fine. If you don't want to continue it, now you're reading all this other stuff in the paper, right? It's moved on. It's moved on to other things. Unless it's something so significant, like a 9/11 or a presidential election day, where, the first 10 pages, everything is just about that. Most of the time, the hard copy newspaper you used to read, you'd read it, you get the gist of the story, or you watch it on the news. You put the news on, they do the top story, 2 or 3 minutes, and then boom, right? They would go on to other things. I think what happens is, with all of us, from people my age to the college students to anyone using Facebook or TikTok or Twitter or any of these modalities, is you're just assailed by the same thing. Depending on who your friends are, and maybe you have friends who are like-minded people, and you scroll, and so you read, this is, and then something about the same thing, and then something about something else. But the more you scroll, the more likely to keep coming back to what they call about the national conversation of the moment. So instead of going through something, reading it once, and like, okay, that was interesting, I'm done. 2 seconds later, you're back to something else about the same thing. 3 seconds later, the same thing. So I have no doubt that these young people, all along college campuses, that are getting information, misinformation about the Israel-Palestinian situation, were just bombarded. Maybe bombarded is more the word that I want than assailed, but they're just being violently attacked verbally and visually nonstop with everything. Everything is nonstop. We are assailed by everything around us. You can't, I mean, if you live in New York City, if you go into any big city, even it's like billboard, crawls, advertising, as opposed to just being able to, do the Henry David Thoreau thing of stepping away and being assailed just by trees and a big old pond. Everything has become assailing and assaultive. And I understand that. It's part of my personality too. If I ever feel disrespected or insulted, certainly, or belittled or ignored, I immediately go into assail mode, where I will attack and go after immediately, usually in a comical way. But I will be like, aha, you're coming at me? Get ready. I'm not the kind of person who says, let's sit down, let's talk about it. Let's share our feelings. Let's really, let's hear each other. This incredible new age bullshit speak. I know you want to be heard, and maybe you're not feeling heard. So join the herd and become one. And it's a nice idea if you can actually feel that, actually believe it, and not hypocritically, and actually live it. But it's not where I come from. Where I come from, of being short, of being Jewish, of living sometimes or working in a city, a very populated, crowded city situation, is like, defense. Defense goes up and stays up all the time. So if I feel any kind of permeation of the defense, it's like, this turns into a fist, verbally and immediately. So you come at me, I will assail until I'm ready to stop, or someone stops me physically. Right? That's how I work. Thank you, Joyce. This is the opposite of assailing. This is breaking me of my assaultive talk with something funny, which always works. I want to grow my own food, but I can't find bacon seeds. See, this kind of thing breaks my pattern of getting kind of worked up and a little bit angry and assailing and assaultive. But at the same time, it's who I am. And and considering the way things are right now, I think those of us who've hung back in the months and weeks after October 7th should have been more assailing. We shouldn't have just said, oh, people will side with us. They'll understand why Israel's doing what it's doing. They'll get it. They'll realize that, oh my God, we were massively and horribly and brutally attacked. Of course the world will believe in us and support us in trying to root out the same kind of terrorism that America was back on September 11th, 2001. And this assumption that anti-Semitism would go away, and the world would understand us and support our right to exist and our right to defend our existence in the place we live in, that was created for us. And now, as the war goes on, and as casualties go on, because that's what happens in a war, this incredible, deep-seated rage and anti-Semitism and anti-Zionism and Jew hatred just blowing back at us from, everything from public radio to all these college campuses that should be napalmed. It's like, aha, whoa. And people just, Jews being afraid and hanging back and feeling fear and feeling like we better lay low for a bit. I'm not that type. I'm like, lay low and take it and just let, the smog pass over our heads? Or do you assail, right? Do you step into those encampments on the college campuses, which are half those people aren't even college kids to begin with. They're outsiders agitating. And you go to those green little tents and spit on them, or kick them, or set fire to them, or just verbally, or just come at these people who are coming at you with signs that, there's one they had in the New York Post of someone carrying a sign with "Final Solution." Thank you very much. Thank you, Muslim Arabs. Final solution on a sign about Israel and Palestine. Yeah. No. It is time to assail. It is time to kick back. So, am I suggesting physical violence? No. Am I suggesting verbal violence? Oh, yeah. Am I suggesting confrontation? Am I saying, don't let these people take over? At some point, the colleges called the police, right? And the police were like, okay, get off the lawns. Hey, you crazy kids, get off the lawns. We're giving you one more warning. Get off the lawns or you will be arrested. And then everybody's like, but they're arresting us. We don't have police records. Well, you were warned. And it's not your account. It's a private college. Get off the lawns, and get a permit if you want to march. Fine, everybody may disagree with you. Right-thinking, intelligent people will disagree with your point, but you can legally make your point, do your thing, march, hold your stupid signs, go away. As opposed to, hey, we're privileged kids and we have these designer tents that were constructed for us and we're eating yodels and Starbucks coffee runs and so on. We're just going to camp out under the stars on this beautiful weather on this college that is giving us this green lawn, and the presidents of the colleges are saying enough. What you're espousing is going beyond supporting some people that are squatting in a country. What you're doing is anti-Semitic and hateful. Get off our fucking lawns. And the police are finally saying, okay, thanks for taking the shackles off. Let's put the shackles on. But I'm saying, if you're near those campuses, go explore. Don't sort of circumnavigate around. If somebody's yelling at you, yell back at them. If somebody's holding a sign that you find offensive and disgusting, come up with a sign of your own, right? Or a T-shirt of your own that says what you feel and how you feel about them. And don't mince words and don't be nice and don't say, I hear you, because, I'm half deaf anyway, but I'm completely deaf to stupidity. Anyway, now that I have assailed you with our word of the day from Dave's Big Dictionary, we have a little more of Dave's Gone By for you here on this Saturday, April 27th, 2024. It is our 941st episode. Please remember, we have a Twitter feed, Radio Dave 2, Radio Dave and the number 2. Plus, I have an Instagram page, David.Lefkowitz. Like my name, David.Lefkowitz, if you want to see my Instagram postings. And if you want to read my work, my interviews, my writings, go to davelefkowitz.org, davelefkowitz.org. And this is not connected to the show. This is, even though a lot of the writings I've done for the program also go on this site, but this is where you can read my plays. This is where you can read my song lyrics, the interviews that I've done with people like, comedian Maria Bamford and Billie Jean King, because I write for Long Island Woman sometimes. So yeah, it's a different side of me, but a connected side of me at davelefkowitz.org, the writerly part of me. Anyway, I have written a poem, a 5-line, really disgusting poem, as I do every week, called The Colorado Limerick of the Damned. But before we get to that, let's thank some of the wonderful folks who have been on this program over the months and years, the 21 and a half years that we have been on the air. We're very proud of so many of our guests. I had to remove one this past week who was posting stuff that was not politically in my wheelhouse. I should have guessed that this person would have. So, it's a blocked, banned, goodbye. But some of the other people were happy to let you know what they're up to. Friends of the Daverhood. So we have a few this time. We've got, I should get my glasses back for this. Yeah. So anyway, we want to thank, one more time, John Suzuki, He was a guest on our show about 3 weeks ago, and I'm going to be on his podcast called Finding Better, and that's in early May. So you want to check up on that, John Suzuki, and I do have the video file of it. So on an upcoming episode of Dave's Gone By, at some point when we have extra time, I'll be playing that. But you can also hear it on his podcast, Finding Better. I want to wish a refuah shlema. It has been a terrible time for my cousin, Jeffrey Kirsch. He's back in the hospital recovering from pneumonia. The man has just been in and out of hospitals, in and out with different kind of ailments, I think from heart, now he has pneumonia. But he's expected to get out and recover. But he's just, ever since they moved to Las Vegas, I don't know what it is, but just everything has been health with him. So I really, really hope that he is getting better. So hey, to my cousin Jeffrey. I want to wish a congratulations to my old good friend David Pace, or AKA David G. Pace. He was on our show many, many years ago, and he writes about life as a kind of a lapsed Mormon. And his latest book, American Trinity, Stories from the Mormon Corridor, is being launched. It's actually being launched today, or it was last night. So yay, get yourself a copy of David G. Pace's book, American Trinity. I want to also give a big thank you to a good friend of this program and a longtime friend of mine, Iris Dorbian. Remember, she's got that new book out, Next Stop Boston. It just won the Firebird Award for fiction. It's a lot of fun, the book is. And also, I thank her very much because she zoomed in with my English class this past week to answer questions about being a professional, full-time writer and also a writer on the side of novels and short stories. So thank you, Iris, for it's an unpaid gig coming to talk to my students, but it takes some of the onus off me of having to actually teach. So thank you, Iris. Want to give a shout out, speaking of get well. Back in 2018, we had comedian Will Durst on the podcast, political comedian. He was doing some kind of off-Broadway show for a couple of weeks. And the next year, Will Durst was appearing at some kind of benefit. And his legs went out from under him, and he found it very difficult to speak. And he had a fairly massive stroke. I had no idea. And he has been recovering ever since then. Still in the hospital. Still, he's trying to get some movement back in his arm and things. So it's constant rehab, even all these years later. But anyway, they're doing a benefit. He's got a GoFundMe page for Will Durst, but there's a benefit happening tomorrow, the 28th of April, at the Sebastiani Theater in Sonoma, California. So, he's still on the way back. If you want to support him, the benefit tickets are only like $20 to get in, and he has this GoFundMe page. So go fund and go good luck to our friend Will Durst. Want to let you know that Amanda Green and Martin Vidnovic and Anita Gillette, all three of them, are doing Backstage Babble, I guess that's the name of the show, at 54 Below. So catch a three-bagger, Amanda Green, Anita Gillette, and Martin Vidnovic. This is happening on Sunday, tomorrow. Also Sunday in the morning, they are announcing the Drama Desk Award nominees on NBC's New York Live. And the announcement is being done by Kathleen Turner, the famous actress who was on our show about 2 years ago. So you want to check that out. It's on NBC Live, 11:30 in the morning, Sunday, tomorrow. On, let's see, April 30th, if today's the 28th, today's the 27th, excuse me. I'm getting my days all wrong. So the Will Durst benefit is today. Amanda Green is tomorrow, as is the Drama Desk. No, it's Monday. I'm totally off on this. Today is the 27th. So Will Durst is tomorrow. Amanda Green is Monday. Kathleen Turner and the Drama Desk is Monday. Tuesday, April 30th, Seth Bissenhirsch is doing his 800th showcase at Don't Tell Mama. He does Seth's talent showcase every Tuesday night. This will be his 800th, but he's also expanding that. He's doing a special one on Thursday, May 2nd as well, at Don't Tell Mama in Manhattan. On Wednesday, Willie Nile will be at City Winery. He's got a new album out. It's called Live at Daryl's House. So he's kind of doing the introduction of the new album at City Winery in Manhattan. Also on Wednesday, Grant Bowen is co-producing Awkward Teenage Years, which is an evening of storytelling that they're going to be doing at Under St. Mark's in Manhattan, one of the few off-Broadway theaters that's still there. Under St. Mark's, that is happening on Wednesday night, Awkward Teenage Years, which is co-produced by playwright Grant Bowen. I want to let you know that on Wednesdays, from May 1st through May 22nd, you can go to Joe's Pub and see Tammy Faye Starlight doing her Nico show. Nico, of course, from the Velvet Underground and the Fellini movie, and then a lot of drugs and a rather, a difficult second life. But she plays Nico at her prime. Tammy Faye Starlight, this is happening at Joe's Pub, Wednesday, May 1st, and then every Wednesday after that through May 22nd at Joe's Pub on Lafayette Street. Let you know that this Friday, Lisa Loeb will be performing with Lyle Lovett at the Gard Arts Center in New London, Connecticut. And then also on Friday, if you go to Governor's Comedy in Levittown, one of the comedians will be our friend Stevie GB, Steve Gianturco. Happening starting on Friday and then running towards the end of May is a new musical called The Sabbath Girl, which has a score by Neil Berg, our friend who usually does these Broadway-themed concert things all around the country. He's got a musical. The Sabbath Girl is being done by Penguin Repertory in Stony Point, New York. Now, through the first week of May, Marilyn May at 54 Below, Edward Einhorn co-wrote and directs the Passover-based musical Exegod at La Mama, speaking of another theater company that's still there, amazingly enough. So go see Exegod by Edward Einhorn at La Mama now from May 12th. And then Jill Eikenberry is at New Jersey Repertory Theater in a play called The Two-Hander. And Gabriel Barry is directing A Sign of the Times off-Broadway at New World Stages. Letting you know that Lilias White is still in Hagestown on Broadway. Alan Menken wrote the music for Aladdin and for Little Shop of Horrors over at the West Side Theater. And then Katie Sullivan is at the Algonquin Theater on Tuesday nights. And go see at the Roxy Michael Garrett. So, how can I forget? Also, my good friend Evan Seplow, who founded the web. So I ran out of notes on this page, so I have to do this from memory. Evan Seplow, who founded StageBuddy.com, the website of New York Nightlife, and our friends David Sheward, who writes for TotalTheater.com, TheaterLife.com, and CulturalDaily.com, Leslie Hoban Blake, who co-hosts Two on the Aisle with my good friend Charlie Gross, and that is on their YouTube channel. Look for Two on the Aisle with the two of them. And Vicky Quaddy out in Chicago doing Are You Smarter Than Your 8th Grade Nun and Late Night Catechism. And those, my friends, are the friends of the Daverhood. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it is just about noon Eastern Time here in the Daverhood. You're watching Dave's Gone By. And so, before we go, we have one more thing to do, of course. The thing that you dread and love, and dread, and love, and dread. It is our Colorado Limerick of the Damned. And this is where we go to a town in Colorado, where Joyce and I used to live. And I think of all the towns that we've done in these limericks, we may have visited like 2% of them. Like we lived in Greeley, we went to Boulder, we've been to Red Rocks, Morrison, Colorado, Evans, Johnstown, not even Colorado Springs. We went to Boulder, places like that. So all these other places that I have to dig up and write poems about, I'm just seeing on a map. I'm just hearing them for the first time when I'm trying to find places to write about. And it happens once again this week where we go to Ackmen, Colorado. Ackmen. I know you've never heard of it. Well, let's tell you about it on our Colorado Limerick of the Damned.
A limerick
Limerick is a comic verse of 5 lines, in which lines 1, 2, and 5 will end with words that rhyme. And likewise, verses 3 and 4 also end with words that rhyme. So this is a limerick. Rocky Mountain, Colorado, Colorado, Colorado.
So here's the deal on Ackmen, Colorado, which was founded near Sandstone Canyon all the way back in 1913. So the story goes, and I'm not making this up, this is the little that you'll find online about it. A group of people met to get things started, and they all were talking in circles until someone said, "We've got to act, men." Apocryphal, probably, but still cute. Now, the Hadley family over in that part of town ran the general store, and they had a post office there named Ackmen. And then, I love this, a guy named Og Wyman bought it. He bought the general store and the post office. Og Wyman, O-G-G. Isn't that beautiful? What is confusing, though, is that for many years, Ackmen was south of a town called Pleasant View, but many say the townspeople of Ackmen transferred to Pleasant View when Route 666 was built, or that they're just synonymous. So it's either part of Pleasant View, or under it, or over it, or in it. I don't know. It's just Ackmen, or at least it was. An old woman interviewed in 2017 who grew up in Ackmen, I mean, she was like 100 years old almost, said she remembered her grandparents having cabins there where truck drivers stayed when the weather was bad. And there was a post office, a general store, and a newspaper even came out of there called the Pioneer Chieftain newspaper out of Ackmen, Colorado, which again, ghost town no longer really there, and I guess is now whatever Pleasant View is. So we're going to have a pleasant view of a poem about Ackmen, Colorado, which is our Colorado Limerick of the damned. A randy young fellow from Ackmen, who looks quite a bit like Hugh Jackman, gives blowjobs in cars to men from gay bars, and gives up his asshole to black men. Yes, please send your comments, opinions, and complaints to davesgoneby@aol.com. davesgoneby@aol.com. That is, I know, it's an old AOL address. I still have it. And I try and read as many of the emails and messages that I get on Facebook as come in. I don't necessarily have the time or energy to reply to everybody. But I try and read everything, and I'm thrilled to have, the feedback. Thrilled to have people talking about the show, telling other people about the show, and, saying, hey, I love this, this was funny, this wasn't so funny, you should have this person on an upcoming episode. That, it keeps me engaged with you, and you guys engaged with the Daverhood. So it's davesgoneby@aol.com. Don't forget, Radio Dave 2 is the Twitter feed. David.Lefkowitz is the Instagram feed. And for Rabbi Saul Solomon, I forgot to mention him, he's at shalomdammit.com. Shalom, D-A-M-M-I-T, shalomdammit.com, where you can read all his rabbinical reflections, you can watch his stage show that was filmed, and you can also watch the 10 episodes of his wonderful TV series, Shalom Dammit, Rabbi Saul Solomon's Peace, Love, and Acid Reflux Hour. 10 episodes that he did for cable TV many years ago. They're really, really fun. That's all there at shalomdammit.com. Do check that out. And his Twitter feed is at Rabbi Saul Solomon. Well, it just remains for me to do some thank yous again. Aside from the friends of the Daverhood, we have a new friend of the Daverhood who joined us today. His name is David Willinger, and he had a wonderful chat with Rabbi Saul Solomon. If you missed it, just, wait a little while and scroll back. The whole episode will be on Facebook. Plus, we'll post this episode on davesgoneby.com sometime by tomorrow morning. If the good Lord's willing and the creeks don't rise. Well, David Willinger, don't forget, is doing his new play. He's directed it and written it. And it's called Bring Them Back. And it's at Theater for the New City, May 9th through May 19th. Theater from the New City is in downtown Manhattan, between 9th and 10th Street over on 1st Avenue. Tickets are at 212-254-1109, 212-254-1109. Sounds like a really, really cool play. It's done with multimedia because it's got some of the characters on TV screens, and it's all about someone who has the opportunity to bring people back from the dead, but should he? So go see at Theater for the New City starting on May 9th. Bring them back. theaterforthenewcity.net. And again, big thank you to David Willinger for being on the show. And not to mention, thank you so much to Paul of Off Public Relations for setting that up, for getting us David Willinger. Like the minute I asked for him, it was basically arranged. And I thank him so much for that. Anyway, I thank you for watching. I thank my darling and wonderful wife, Joyce, for joining us for the show as well. I wish you a most happy, healthy, and safe Passover or the rest of it. Not to mention a good end of April and a fine Mayflower May. And what else? I think, is there anything else I wanted to mention? Hoping that the yard sales are going on. Not sure. Gonna find out. And we'll report back to you next week for the 942nd episode of the program called Days Gone By. Until then, don't miss your days going by. I'm Dave Lefkowitz, as let my people go. And gone by.
Days gone by, they're gone by. Days gone by, they're gone by. Days gone by, they're gone by.
All right, Potato. I'll give you one more adjustment. Here we go. Now he's fine.